What is up, Barnhill family? Welcome to the live stream. Guys, tonight we got two going on simultaneously. We have UFC Fight Night, Costa versus Allen, and the inaugural first ever Netflix MVP promotions. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, your main event on that. We're going to be watching the fights all night long. So we hope you enjoy. Let me make sure I've got everything muted here so that I can hear all of you. Heather O'Neill in the chat. What's up? Thanks for joining us tonight. Nicholas Barnhill. Yo, bro. Sorry you couldn't make this one, but we will enjoy in your absence. Hopefully you stick around in the comments section all night long. Based Volkanovski enjoyer. Forgot about the companion 2 weeks ago, so I put notifications on it this time. Love that, bro. Thank you. I appreciate you coming back for a few of these now. Really hope to have a good one tonight and have a good chat. Let me know in the comments, guys, what are you watching? It looks like most of you are watching the the UFC card, and then some of you are switching in between. I've got the MVP card here on my computer or on my TV right now, and I'm going to try to turn my phone here and get the UFC fight going on this one. As the bigger fights pop up, I think we have Robelis Despaigne versus JDS next on Netflix. So I want to catch that one. That's a good heavyweight fight. And then we will jump back into some of the UFC stuff. Here we go. All righty. Thank you guys for joining the chat. Piers Fitzpatrick, Barnhill, what are your official predictions for both the MVP card and the Allen versus Costa card? Good question. Let me pull up both cards real quick, and I can give you my predictions. I will start off with the UFC card because I've got that pulled up here on my computer. Main event was a tough one. Ultimately, I chose Melquizael Costa. I think he's just kind of trending in the right direction. Arnold Allen, not so much. I think the skills are there, and Arnold Allen may show us tonight that there's levels to this game, and Melquizael Costa's not quite at the elite level yet. But I do think Melky gets it done. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He's got a lot of power in his kicks. I think he's going to be more dynamic, quicker, and he's just going to get the jump on Allen. Now, Allen's a vet. Is Allen going to get finished? Unlikely, but I think we could see either a late finish or a close decision victory won by Melquizael Costa. Ho Choi and Daniel Santos. Man, I love Ho Choi, and I would have loved to have picked him in this fight. I just think Santos presents a lot of problems in some areas where Choi could be exploited. I think the grappling could be a problem. I like Daniel Santos in this one, maybe even by submission. I got Malcolm Wellmaker. Juan Diaz is tough, but I think Wellmaker is going to show us that he's made some improvements and that he's ready to be back in that elite talk again. Let's see here. Modesta Bukakis, Christian Edwards. I got Bukakis. How about that Chaos Williams knockout, by the way? That the first one on the opener. Incredible. But yeah, Christian Williams coming in on short notice. So I think he's going to probably get exposed a little bit in this one. And let me see one more here. I'm just reading it off of the computer. I got Bernardo. That was a close one. I think Bernardo is going to beat Timothy in this one. So what are your picks for that one? Would love to hear who you guys are taking. Now let me pull up the Netflix card. Let's see here. Can't find the card as easily as I could find the UFC. Okay. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. I've got Ronda. I love Gina Carano. She hasn't fought in 16 years, hasn't won in 18 years. We heard sort of behind the curtain when she was transparent and telling us that she lost over 100 pounds for this fight, which is no easy task. I mean, that's an incredible feat, but that also tells me she spent most of the fight camp cutting weight. And, basically just getting herself in shape to fight, which I don't love. Gina's got good striking, but we're talking almost 2 decades ago when she was really lethal with the striking. Ronda seems to still have the judo, still have the ability to get inside, get throws, and use her tenacity and her aggression. I do think Ronda gets the submission in this one. I think we see a classic Ronda Rousey armbar tonight, unfortunately for Gina Carano. Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Man, I've gone back and forth on this one, but Nate Diaz looks the best he's ever looked. I picked Mike Perry in our build up to this, but having seen Nate on fight week, watching him at the weigh-ins, you know, it's hard to tell. You never know with Nate. He's a wild card, but I'm kind of leaning towards Nate now as the dark horse of this card, even though he's not a huge underdog, but he is an underdog. Francis definitely got Francis Ngannou knocking out Philipe Lins. Philipe is dangerous. Was on a 3-fight win streak when he left the UFC, but in reality, he's a light heavyweight. And Francis is one of the top 5 best heavyweights in the world, even still right now. So I've got Francis. Parnasse and Cross, to be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about these guys. I have heard really, really good things about Parnasse. Forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong. And I'm told by a lot of people that he's going to have his coming out party tonight. So maybe I'll lean towards him. Robelis, JDS, I got Robelis, but I would not mind seeing JDS get a victory at 42 years old. Robelis Despaigne was cut from the UFC not that long ago. We have to remember that. He's a very good striker, but he does have some real susceptibility when it comes to grappling. JDS is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's very strong. He's very tenacious. He's got to watch out early that he doesn't get clipped. But I'm going Robelis, but my heart is pulling for JDS. Let's see here. If Perry loses to Diaz tonight, does he go back to bare knuckle or retire from combat sports? I think he goes back to bare knuckle. I think that, he's kind of tailor-made for bare knuckle. Nick and I used to talk about this all the time. Like, if there were ever a sport created for an individual, it would be bare knuckle being created for Mike Perry. I think he's tailor-made for that. I think there's always an appetite to see him fight in bare knuckle. I don't think the bare knuckle fan base cares what his win-loss record is in MMA. So I think that he'll definitely go back to bare knuckle, probably win or lose. If he wins, he'll probably bounce a little bit from MMA to bare knuckle. If he loses, he will probably go back to bare knuckle exclusively. Forgive me, guys. I was on YouTube for the prelims. I need to switch over to Netflix now. Let's see. Heather O'Neill. I got Ronda. Namo King, Diane North, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see here. Trying to keep up with these comments, guys. What happened to Mokaev and Moraes fight? The only fight I was looking forward to this card. Yeah, it got pulled. From what I understand, Mohamed Mokaev had visa issues getting into the United States, and that prevented the fight from happening. And from what I'm told, Mokaev is actually booked on Ilia Toporia's promotion in Spain sometime in the next few weeks. So look out for him there. Base Volkanovski enjoyer. I don't see Ronda Rousey or Ngannou fight going past 3 minutes. I don't either, man. So bum Mokaev isn't there. I heard it was a VC issue. Yeah, that's right, Nick. That's what I heard too. This is a bummer. I really wanted to see Mokaev. Absolutely. All right, let me, Netflix is making me sign in. I've got a new TV here, so bear with me 1 second, guys. Let's see here. But yeah, drop y'all's comments in the chat. I'm curious to know who y'all are taking for both the Costa versus Allen main card, as well as the Netflix, the premiere, very first Netflix MMA promotion with Jake Paul, MVP promotion. Should be an interesting night. And to be honest, it's been a pretty good production as far as MVP is concerned. Obviously, we see the levels, right? We're watching the UFC and we're watching Netflix at the same time here. And we see that once again, the UFC is showing us that there are levels to this sport, and the UFC has the highest caliber of fighters, bar none. But that's not to say that there's not really good fighters out there, and that, excuse me 1 second, sign into TV. All right. I think we should be cooking with peanut oil here, guys. Give me just 1 second, and we will have the main card on. Let's see here. Good deal. And we already got 22 in the chat. Thank you guys for being here tonight. We're going to switch back and forth, and hopefully we'll have a good show for you. Hopefully there'll be some more knockouts. We had Jason Jackson making history tonight. 22-second knockout, the first knockout ever on MVP Promotions. Always been a fan of Jackson. One, I love Jamaica. We live down there. For some of you that have been following the channel for a long time, you know that we lived down there for a little while, about a year and a half. And so I've got love for Jamaica. But Jackson as well, I always cheer for him because he always comes to fight. And how about that post-fight speech, man? That guy is cold. He's like, I don't even care who it is. I don't fight for belts. I don't fight for accolades. I just want to hurt people. So, man, he's something else. All right. Looks like we got about 15 minutes before the Netflix card officially starts. So let's go over to Paramount real quick. All right. Let me jump into some of these comments real quick. Rajesh Makayev has the most curveball career ever. I agree, dude. He's and he's got a long career still ahead, right? I mean, what's he, 20, 24 years old? And now we have one of the most exciting champions in the sport in Joshua Fearless Van, right? Joshua Van, 24 years old, just looked really good against Tatsuro Taira. Also showed some susceptibility in certain aspects, some places where Makayev shines. So I think a lot of people really would love to see Muhammad Makayev back in the UFC and ultimately work his way up to a title fight with Joshua, the Fearless Van. Let me know in the comments, who do you guys think would win that fight, Makayev or Van? Imbredimov, hello boys. What's up, Imbredimov? It's just me tonight, but Nick is watching with our dad. You'll see him in the comments here. We weren't able to get together in person tonight, but he is here in spirit and in comment. Let me see here. All right, I'm getting... Looks like we just had a finish on Paramount. I just switched over here. Wow. So you would think with the Netflix card, there would be some, base Volkanovski enjoyer sub in the UFC. What fight is this? I'm just getting into it now. I had Netflix on, or I had the Netflix prelims on rather, and then I had to switch over to Netflix from YouTube, so I missed that entire fight. Yeah, big left hook, ground and pound. Boy, that lead left hook was beautiful, wasn't it? And then beautiful. Looks like it's going to be a rear naked choke here. Man, I'm bummed I missed this fight. Man, Kwamba, wow. Tough loss. Really, really good performance there. Okay, guys, let's go. Let me put a poll. KSR, KST, you guys still training with Derek Lewis? How is he preparing for the White House card? Yeah, Nick sees him on a daily basis. I don't go up as often as he does. I'm what you would call a hobbyist trainer. And so Nick is there multiple days a week, and he's with Derek. Derek's in good spirits, as he always is. I think Nick actually was on camera when the UFC was doing some of their build-up stuff leading into the White House card. Derek is always Derek, man. Derek shows up. He hits pads. He trains hard. When he's got a fight, when he doesn't have a fight, you don't see much of Derek. But Derek's not the kind of guy who's going to go in there and try to brush up his skills and become a world-class grappler, become a world-class, submission artist or whatever. Derek goes in there to knock people out. He makes no bones about it. He's going in the cage to knock people out. He trains for that. And does he get it? Most of the times he does. Sometimes he doesn't. Josh Hokett's a really tough fight. I'm not going to lie. Josh Hokett's a really tough fight for Derek. But I would love to see a vintage Black Beast performance. He is getting older now. But, I think maybe he's still got one or two more really clean knockouts left in him. Hopefully we'll see you guys on the UFC vlogs. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I hope so. Hey, let me know in the chat, is this video coming through clean? It's on my end. It looks a little bit blurry, but that just may be my computer. So let me know if you guys are seeing me clearly or not. Pierce Fitzpatrick, do you guys think, let's see here. I want to show some love to the X folks because most of the chat is over here on YouTube. Do you guys think there is a chance before Ronda and Carano walk out, Dana announces Conor Max? Absolutely. I actually think it's probably 50% or better that he does that. I think he's going to do everything he can to take the wind out of the sails of this if he can. Okay, somebody's saying it's a little blurry. There's a tiny bit of blur. Shoot. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me see what I can do to fix that. Okay, hopefully that'll fix it, guys. My Wi-Fi router is downstairs, and I've got my phone with Paramount Plus. I've got my TV with Netflix. My computer's pulling Wi-Fi, and I'm pretty sure my wife and son are downstairs watching something as well. So we're a little Wi-Fi drained here at the moment. Hopefully it clears up. I haven't had really much problem leading into this, but okay, perfect. I opened the door, so hopefully that's gonna get the Wi-Fi in here. Cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Agent Zero, Base Volkanovski, Enjoyer, and KSR. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Imbredimov, I take any Connor news with less than a grain of salt. He's been in talks to fight every single human at this point. Yeah, fair. But I think if they go as far as announcing International Fight Week, McGregor versus Max, Connor's not really one to pull out after he has a fight announced, right? We've seen Connor do a lot of talk building up to fights, but once something gets announced, McGregor kind of shows up, right? Let's see here. All right, guys, we are just about 10 minutes away from the Netflix card starting. Shout out to everybody on X, on Kick, on Facebook, and especially you guys on YouTube. That's where most of the chat happens. Ooh, good question. Piers Fitzpatrick, if there was one fight result you could change in history, what would it be? And Piers is over on X. So chat, let me know what you said, what you think on YouTube here, because that's where most of you guys are, and I will let him know y'all's answers. I don't know that he can see them. Man, I mean, recency bias. Like, I kind of wish that like the Tom Aspinall Cyril Gane fight didn't end the way that it did, and we could have had some conclusion at heavyweight. We may have even seen a John Jones fight if that would have been the case. So I can't really think of one that I would just change. I mean, I love. Do you have one? I'm curious to know what would yours be. Just in recent memory, I would have loved the heavyweight title fight to not have ended how it ended. Also, would have loved the Van and Pantoja fight to not have ended the way it ended. But I think that Joshua Van now has kind of moved past that, whereas heavyweight's still a disaster. So I would say heavyweight. Heavyweight's probably it for me. The Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane result. I'm sure there were some back in the day that I'm just drawing a blank on that would have been great if they had gone the other way, but they didn't. And so, I mean, Israel Adesanya, when he went up to fight Jan Blachowicz, right? That was had he won that fight, people were talking about. There actually were, believe it or not, it wasn't that long ago. There were talks about Israel Adesanya versus John Jones. Now, we probably all know how that would have gone, in hindsight. But had Izzy come up there and smoked Jan Blachowicz, there could have been some drama there. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened? But I'm curious to know what you guys think on that. Let's see. In Bredimov, real shame for Makayev not fighting. Would have been a massive statement to the UFC. Agreed. When will they announce KSR? When will they announce Makhachev versus Gary? I feel like Islam is gone forever. Almost all champs except Van and Strickland are so inactive these days. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's the bummer of the whole thing. But it is an unfortunate reality that we have to deal with. And I just talked about Israel Adesanya. I mean, Izzy gets a lot of hate, right? But there was a day where Israel Adesanya defended the belt 3 times a year. And, some of his fights, a lot of people say they weren't the most exciting fights in the world. Okay, that's cool. But we had a champion that defended 3 times a year, and now we're lucky if we get one champion on to defend once a year. So really something to think about with regards to Izzy and how you look at his career. But I think that to answer your question, KSR, I think they're probably going to announce that after they announce 329. To me, it would feel a little weird to announce 329 and then announce, to announce 330 and then announce 329. That would feel very odd to me. So I think they'll probably hold off on the Gary Makhachev announcement until they announce 329. But remember, it was like a couple months ago when Dana just like came out of nowhere and gave us like 7 or 8 fight cards. So that was, and that was that show that he did with Michael Bisping and I forget who else it was, but it's Bisping, Dana, and one other person. And they were basically like, we're just laying out the next quarter for you. So maybe that's the kind of promotion that they're going to get into now. Maybe Dana will come out and announce not only 329, but 330 and all the fight nights in between and 331 and who knows how far. So we'll see. But let's see here. Piers Fitzpatrick, I just gave you guys a sub on YouTube, been following on X, and alongside dropped one on Instagram and Facebook to answer your question. There is a few. All of Frankie Edgar's losses in bantamweight and Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. There you go. Well, first of all, thank you, my friend, for the sub. We really appreciate that. We appreciate all of you guys, even those of you that are not subscribed, but everybody that tunes in, watches our content, engages with it, has debate back and forth. We really appreciate it all. Thank you, Mr. Pierce Fitzpatrick. I really do appreciate it. And to answer, you answered the question better than I could have. Frankie Edgar's losses would have been great. And the Dustin versus Charles, that would have been super cool to have seen that reversed as well. Let me see here. Brother BKL Sports Entertainment Show. Shout out to everyone in the chat, including the Barnhill Bros. Keep up the good work on the channel. Appreciate it. And shout out from South Bronx, Brother BKL, a.k.a. the sports entertainment guy. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Let's see. In Bredimov, I think Hamzat and Ilya get the hate deserved, I guess, for not being active. But Islam is just, if not more inactive, is just as, if not more inactive. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ilya, let's see what happens with Ilya, right? Because he came out and said, I was inactive because of my divorce. And so, I mean, you don't typically hope to go through a divorce ever in life. If you do go through it, you probably hope to go through it no more than once. And so let's hope that this is truly behind Ilya and he actually is going to be an active champion at this point. I think he's still to be determined, but I agree on the Hamzat. Like people tend to give him a little bit more grace in not defending than they do Islam Makhachev. Let's see here. Dana with his Nokia 1200 camera. Let's see here. Base Volkanovski and Joyer, did they not say they were doing like press conference every quarter like they did at the start of the year when they announced the first 3? Did they say that? I don't know. I mean, that's just what they did with Bisping and Dana and God, was it Felder? Was Felder the other guy or was it Brendan Fitzgerald? I really can't remember. But yeah, maybe that's just what they're going to do. They're just going to drop a quarter's worth of content at a time. And honestly, that to me is better than these bullshit Instagram lives that Dana has been doing where he's just like, oh, I'm live. Like we're going to announce this, and this, and there's no production value. Like if we're going to give a quarter's worth of content, let's put together an hour show. I mean, it's not that hard, right? We have way less of a production budget than the UFC has, and we can put together a couple shows for you guys every week. It's obviously not as edited as theirs is, but I mean, you would think with the marketing team they have, they could put together something that would really be interesting to kind of unveil each quarter. That I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Let's see. Rogers, what's up, man? Welcome to the chat. Some people believe that Blachowicz had gotten the nod against Pereira. Can you imagine where Pereira's career would have gone if he lost? Would he still be at middleweight? Would he still be fighting? You know, maybe he would have gone up to light heavyweight because of the Izzy thing. I think Pereira would definitely not be at middleweight had he lost to Blachowicz. The only reason he was there in the first place was the Izzy parity. If Izzy wasn't at middleweight, he would have never been at middleweight. He was chasing Adesanya. So I think his first loss at 185, he would have jumped up to 205 and just had whatever kind of career he could have had there. Let's see. In Bredimov, man, you guys, regardless of views, have been posting great content and consistently for years. You guys have gold here. Keep going. That's going on the screen. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. We keep going because of people like you, and it's starting to work. It's starting to become something where it's, we're able to hire an editor in Chris, our brother, and he was able to leave his job. And we've got, some things in the works now to, reinvest a little bit of the money that we're making to build this thing and keep it growing and always make it better. That's what we're looking to do. Let's see here. Quarterly press conference has to be the way, and bring the fighters in for an initial face-off. Yeah, I agree. That's cool, man. I like that idea. Chris, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, little brother Chris in the chat. Can we get a card rip before the next fight? So, yes, the answer is yes. And those of you guys that have been coming to our live streams, some of you may have been here for our 328 live stream, where just literally could not have been better timing. We bought one of these Tops boxes, right? I've got one here tonight. But basically, and I'll put the cards a little bit closer to the camera once I open them. But basically, there was like 6 packs of cards with, I think, 6 cards in each pack. And we opened, what would have been 4 packs. We were on the 5th pack, and it just so happened to be an autographed Joshua Van after Josh beat Tatsuro Taira. Like, one, to have an autographed Joshua Van was super cool. But literally after he beat Tatsuro Taira, that was like, the timing couldn't have been any better. We probably need to clip that and post that somewhere, because that's pretty cool. So, all right, I am going to rip the first pack of the night here. So let's see what we got. All right. Starting off with a guy, you guys know him. He's a good fighter. Just had a little bit of a setback, but he's primed for a comeback. He lost to a former champion. No shame in that, Mr. Yusuf Zalal. Nothing to write home about with this one. It's not a Chris can chime in the chat here. He knows all of the specifics. So, all right, coming in now with a David Onama. David Onama card there. And you guys know this guy. You either love him or you hate him, and you're probably surprised that he's not on the White House card. Chaos, Mr. Colby Covington. So base cards so far, nothing crazy. Now we got Wang Kong. Be honest, guys, this first pack is not the best pack. Tom Nolan. And just as I say that, we get a champ, Mr. Sean Strickland. There we go. I don't think it's not an autograph or anything. Nothing incredibly amazing about this one, I don't think. And we got right after Sean Strickland, one of his foes fought thrice, all action, Mr. Dricus du Plessis. And Raquel Pennington. Not finishing any stronger than we started. All right, so not the best pack to start the night, but the good news is we got 5 more to open. And let me get, let's see, is it 8 o'clock? Yes, it is 8 o'clock Central. So it's time for Netflix MMA. I also have the UFC here on my phone. Let's see here. I remember them announcing them beforehand, and they announced Max versus Charles at the presser, but my memory isn't that special to remember it all. I get you, man. My memory is tough to make Chris mod. Yeah, Chris, I don't even know how to do that, to be honest with you, man, but we should make Chris the moderator. Yeah, I remember you saying, Josh. Yeah, we'll have to show him that. I haven't seen Josh since the victory. I mean, he's obviously got more important things to do than hang out with us. But he's, and I think he's going to Asia to take that belt over there. But when we see him, which will be sometime before the end of the year, I'd love to show him that card. Base Volkanovski, enjoyer. People love Colby. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, there's a handful, but it's not too many anymore. Let's see here. Heard Masvidal's a big fan of him. LO, yeah, he's a big fan of him outside of Poppy's Steakhouse in Miami. A big fan of punching his face. All right, so we got Bukakis versus Edwards here on my screen, on my phone here. So far, 1 minute into the round. Let's see, I'll call this one as we're waiting for the Netflix card to start. So far, both guys coming out in the orthodox stance, throwing some jabs and a couple of low kicks. Nothing amazing yet. Edwards trying to crab walk in there a little bit. 1-2 by Bukakas. Edwards in on a double, which has so far been pretty well stuffed. Little cage work here. I'm excited about this first fight on Netflix, guys. I'll be honest. Robelis Despaigne. I was bummed that he got cut from the UFC, but I understand why. I think he's still got some work to do, but who knows? He's still he's not that young of a guy. That's the trouble with the fighters coming out of Cuba. They're they never get out of the country in their prime. Just think about Yoel Romero. But still some miles on the tires left to go at heavyweight. But I think if he gets a big knockout tonight and Francis gets a big knockout and they don't somehow make a super fight with John Jones, which I think is highly unlikely, the UFC would never release John for that, in my opinion. Then maybe they do Despaigne versus Francis. So we got Edwards in on a lot of doubles here. Bukakas is defending well with the whizzer, kind of keeping himself safe. Let's see here. Rogers, I'm really hoping the UFC maintains the major 3-tier seat press conferences, UFC 205 style, as they did for the recent White House event. I'm hoping they go back to that when Conor returns. Yeah, that I mean, the press conferences, especially with Strickland and Hamzat, I know it was some nasty, bad blood back and forth, but man, was it exciting. And then, Josh Hokett, whether you love him or you hate him, I'm going to chama on your mama was probably the most absurd line I've ever heard at a press conference, but it also is the one that made me literally laugh out loud. And I can't remember the last time I laughed out loud at a press conference. It was probably something that Conor said. So just over a minute and a half left in round one with Bukakas versus Edwards here. So far, it's just been kind of exchanging single strikes in the open cage, and then Edwards trying to get his takedowns that have been defended well by Bukakas. Big swing there for Edwards and a miss. We got Tyrone Woodley on the set tonight with Ariel Helwani. I'm not sure who the young lady is on the set with them, but it looks good. I mean, Netflix and MVP have done a good job with the optics of this. Let's hope the fights deliver, but the optics have been pretty good so far. All righty. So far, we got 96 total in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I appreciate all of you that are hanging around and commenting. Hopefully, we'll have some good fights tonight to comment on and some more packs to rip here soon. All right. Big swing there by Edwards, but it was telegraphed by Bukakas. He saw it coming. We got Edwards at southpaw right now. Let's see what he can do from this position. Big head kick by Edwards. It was blocked by Bukakas and a straight 1-2. Bukakas the aggressor now against the cage. Really nice front hook landed there. Bukakas is starting to land here. 10 seconds left in the round. And that's going to do it for the round. Big head kick by Bukakas to end the round. I have been Piers Fitzpatrick. I've been watching UFC, or I've been watching since UFC 47, Diaz versus Lawler 1, and Bas Rutten as the Pancrase King. I am 23 years old now. What has been your personal all-time favorite UFC fight or fight card? Really good question. Man, you got some good questions tonight. There's been so many good fight cards. Offhand UFC fight that was like super exciting that I really enjoyed was Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. That was an all-time great. You mentioned Robbie Lawler, so I'll just bring up Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald. That was a banger. Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin, incredible fight if we're going way back. Yeah, we were actually at the Anderson Silva Nick Diaz fight. That was the first fight event that we ever went to live. We went there for Nick's birthday. And while that wasn't the best fight of all time, it was entertaining. And fight week leading up to it was a lot of fun. Netflix got Ariel Cornball Helwani on the comment box. Yeah, yeah. Ariel is he's been doing a lot of these things with Jake. He seems to be Jake's guy. You know, for whatever reason, Jake Paul tends to hire Ariel Helwani for his events. What do you guys think of Ariel? I get Ariel's a good journalist, but in reality, I think you know, he's just he's got a lot of work to do when it comes to the commentary, in my personal opinion. Let's see here. Nothing would be. Let's see, Hercules AI. Thanks for joining the live chat tonight. Nothing would be funnier if Philipe Lins KOs Francis, then calls out John Jones ringside. Lins versus Jones, once in a lifetime only at MVP. Yeah, I don't think John Jones is coming out of retirement for Philipe Lins. I think Philipe Lins would be the party spoiler tonight if he were to KO Francis, which, by the way, is possible. Not likely, but possible. Francis hasn't had a meaningful MMA fight since 2022 against Ciryl Gane. It's been 4 years since Francis had a meaningful MMA fight. I know he had one in PFL that was, you know, open and shut quickly, but it's really kind of been boxing for the last few years for Francis. And, you know, while he did look pretty good against Tyson Fury, he didn't look great against Anthony Joshua. He is almost 40 years old. He has been now knocked out by Anthony Joshua. So is there going to be some chin susceptibility? I don't know. So we'll see. I wouldn't put any faith in Lins winning tonight, but I would still not be totally shocked if we saw an upset. Okay, yeah, so I really lost it when he made those comments on Sean and Hamzat for being friends. Yeah, I don't see what his point was in that. Like, I get that the buildup was nasty. I get that, you know, some things may have crossed the line, but in reality, if those two guys buried the hatchet, if those two guys were satisfied with the reasonings that the other one had for why they did what they did and what they did to sell the fight, then who the heck are we to be upset with them? I don't understand why he was so upset, you know? Diaz bros anti-peps, yet Diaz is in his 40s and looks like he's in his best physique ever. Yeah, I don't think Diaz was anti-peptides for this one, my friend. You know, I'm not in my 40s yet, but I'm in my mid 30s, and I can tell you, it's hard to look your best as you start to get this age. And you know, I think there's some very high likelihood that Nate Diaz used some performance enhancing supplements, and good for him. You know, that's if they're not testing in this, and you can do testosterone, bring your levels up to whatever would be within the normal acceptable range. And Nate Diaz did that. I've got no issue with it. Him and Mike Perry are both going to throw down. So yeah, I think that his stance on peptides may have changed. Let's see here. What is your take on how Hamzat has become from beloved active fighter to inactive, disliked, warlord loving fighter? Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much of a difference you know, a year or two can make, right? But what if you think about what did we love about Hamzat Chimaev, right? He was this guy, you know, immediately post COVID when we were having fights on Yas Island, Fight Island, as it were, in Abu Dhabi, and he came out of nowhere with this just insane tenacity in the cage, didn't even take a shot, didn't respect his opponent at all, went straight across the cage and just finished them easily. And then was like, you know what? I'm going to turn it around next weekend at a weight class lower than what I fought at just now. and I'm going to do the same thing. And then he made good on his promise. And then he kept winning. He knocked out Gerald Mearschart, and had that war with Gilbert Burns. But then the inactivity started, and then the excuses started, and then it was retirement, and then it's, I'm going to be retired, but then I'm coming back. And I like Boris. I'm a fan of Chimaev, but the reason that people fell in love with him is because it was like anybody, anywhere, anytime, and I'm going to fight with a tenacity that no one can keep up with. Now, I know that the level of competition gets better as you go up and up and up. However, it's it's at some point in time when you lose what it's like if Max Holloway were to go out there and fight Conor, but he were to try to take him down and grapple him or hold him against the cage and kill the clock. It's like everything that you love about Max, you're like, well, he's not the same guy that I fell in love with. And I think that's what it is with Chimaev, if I'm being honest. Base Volkanovski enjoyer. What's everyone's first? That's a great one. I'm putting it up on screen. What's everyone's first fight they've ever watched? Let me know in the comments. I cannot even remember. I think it was like, because I started in jiu-jitsu, so it had to be one of the Royce Gracie fights from UFC 1 or 2. I don't recall exactly which one, but it would definitely be one of those. Let's see, KSR. Is the Netflix card too slow or is the UFC going too fast? The Netflix card mostly feels like a yapping session to me. That was my biggest concern about this, was that we're going to be here all night, waiting for 45 minutes to an hour in between fights. I really hope that's not the case. As much as I love to hang out with you guys, I can only yap for so long before we need to start calling some fights. So, but maybe they're also trying to stall until the UFC finishes their card tonight, because the UFC's main card did start an hour earlier, I believe, than the Netflix card. So if that's the case, then we don't run into an issue missing Ho Choi or Melquizael Costa and Arnold Allen. So maybe there's a rhyme and reason to it. Let's see here. Some of these are good. Mine is Brock versus Hunt when I was a huge WWE fan. Yeah, there we go. My first was Michael Johnson versus Gaethje. Great fight. I remember seeing all of the kicks and comebacks and flips after and knew I needed to see more. Yeah, that's a great first one. And then Pierce Fitzpatrick, and I loved all of the Crow Cop Pride fights. Yeah, how could you not? How could you not? Let's see here. We got so far 142 total in the chat. Between X, Facebook, YouTube, and Kick. Most of the chat happening over here on YouTube, so I'm kind of toggling back and forth. But yeah, and then we're also, for those of you that are watching along, we are round 3, Bukakis versus Edwards. 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the third round is what I see here. Edwards up against the cage again with Bukakis. He's kind of been trying to do this the whole fight. So we'll see. And then you cannot mention buildups without Cruz versus Faber. Very true. Yeah, that's Dom Cruz back in the day, and Faber, those WEC days, man, those were some fun times. All right, Mauro Ranallo is calling out JDS versus Robelis Despaigne right now. So we're going to go to that one. 42 years old versus 37. So really not a huge gap in age here. Definitely a huge gap in mileage. Junior Dos Santos, JDS, has been in some absolute wars. And he's worn them well, but as well as you can wear 42 years of fighting. So we got boxing. I like that they're also doing this too, that they're giving the base. So we have boxing base versus taekwondo, American top team versus MMA Temple. 5-2. That's the big glaring thing here for Robelis versus 21-10. So massive experience advantage. And of course, all 5 of Robelis's wins have come by knockout. 13 for JDS knockout and 3 subs, the rest decisions. So let me just put a question here in the chat, because we have enough questions answered on the first one. So who wins the Netflix main card opener? JDS. You guys think Junior Dos Santos is going to come out with his classic Rocky Balboa song? I always loved that. One of my favorite songs for a walkout. All righty, here we go. Just dropped the new poll, guys, on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, pop over and vote. Who you got? I want to see who you guys are taking in this one. Also, are you? Let me see. KSR, are you watching RAF? They've announced another cornball matchup in Hamzat versus Dylan Dennis. Yeah, that's I mean a ridiculous matchup for wrestling. If this was submission grappling, it may be a different thing. But pure wrestling, like, good luck. That's a tech fall waiting to happen. But it is kind of cool to see Hamzat over in RAF, and I do like what RAF is doing. And I get that they're trying to build up the wrestlers that not a lot of people know about by putting on these kind of one-off sort of freak show, big name wrestling matches. But ultimately, they're trying to build a stable of wrestlers that people get behind. But there's a lot of good wrestlers signed to RAF that are around the weight class of Hamzat Chimaev. So I would have loved to see something a little bit more competitive than Dylan Dennis will be. But hey, I still think it's going to be fun to see Hamzat in RAF. Let's see, Rogers. I'm putting this one on the screen because I'm interested in knowing people's thoughts. Also, that WWE announcer Mauro Ranallo just isn't for me when calling MMA for the MVP card. He announces actions that are off from the fight in real time. Just grab Michael Goldberg or Jimmy Smith. Hey, I didn't get a call. I was waiting for a call. I would have been happy to do it. But yeah, I mean, I love Mauro for what he is, but what he is like a WWE type of entertainer, right? The Mamma Mias and all that sort of stuff. That's just kind of I don't know. I don't want to say disingenuous because that's not the right word. I think he does like what he does. I just think it's just he doesn't know the sport as well as like a Daniel Cormier, obviously a Bisping, a Joe Rogan, even a John Anik, even though John's not a trained fighter, so to speak. He understands the sport at a deeper level. So I think Mauro kind of fills with more color. But, I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think of that as well. Yeah, low-key RAF undercards are so good compared to the main matchups. Agreed. Yeah, for sure the RAF undercards are where you're going to find your best fights. Interesting here on YouTube, guys. 67% so far, Robelis Despaigne. So most of you, only 3 votes. So get your votes in, guys. But the majority of you here in this chat at least think that Robelis Despaigne is going to win. All righty, here we go. Junior Dos Santos coming to the cage now. But I will say it does look like a lot of empty seats in this Netflix. What is it, the Intuit Dome? It does appear that there are still, I mean, we're on the main card now, and it looks like we're seeing a lot of empty seats. By the way, they're calling the decision on the UFC card right now. Let's see who gets the nod. Split decision, 29-28. Bokakis by split decision for those of you that switched over. Modesta Bokakis. All right, Cigano. JDS, let's go, guys. All righty. And again, for those of you that are just joining, thank you for being here. We're watching both UFC Fight Night, Costa versus Allen, as well as the Netflix MVP inaugural MMA card. So we'll be calling both right now. I've got my attention set on Junior Dos Santos, the former UFC champion, the legend, the Hall of Famer, taking on the Cuban Robelis Despaigne. 5-2, very electric with his knockouts, has been absolutely bodying people in karate combat. But JDS is a different animal. Robelis Despaigne has never been in the cage with somebody with the accolades of Junior Cigano Dos Santos. So I'm curious to know who you guys are taking in this one. We are 50-50 so far in the vote. We've got 10 votes in, and we are dead even, guys. So let me know who you guys are taking in this one before the fight starts. And KSR, I hope JDS got a big payday for accepting this. Also, he should stop fighting if he gets KO'd. Yeah, I agree. He had a little stint in bare knuckle MMA, Jorge Masvidal's promotion. But yeah, I just you don't want to see JDS take too many more brutal knockouts. I'm hoping tonight won't be one, but if it is, he might need to seriously consider hanging things up. Let's see here. I would love to watch both MVP and Costa Allen, but I am taking a night off due to I need to catch an early bus tomorrow morning. And I would also love to hear your takes for feuds, as I have asked this for my own interviews like Carlos Mata and Tag O'Connor. One says it is necessary, the other says it isn't. What about you? I'm a fan of feuds. I don't love when people start bringing family into it and people start bringing like personal, like country, religion, family, kids, wives. Not the biggest fan, but like when you get like nasty with the person that you're fighting, it does help to sell the fight. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it as long as it doesn't get too nasty and lines aren't crossed, so to speak. Base Volkanovski Enjoyer, how old is JDS? Now, he is 42 if the tail of the tape is correct, sir. 42 years young. Looks pretty dang good for 42, if I might add. All right, introducing Robelis Despaigne right now. I'll give you guys exactly where I am, so if you want to lock in with me. Unfortunately, I apologize doing this solo tonight. I don't have my time clock. So I'll tell you when the round starts. And then if you want to lock in with where I am time-wise, I'm going to call the fight. Right now, they are announcing Robelis Despaigne. All righty. The 2012 Olympic bronze medalist, Robelis Despaigne. Let's see. Let's check the poll now. Wow, JDS still up. I love it. 64% for the old dog. Junior Dos Santos. Thank you, my friend. Just putting this back up on the screen. Have a safe bus ride tomorrow, my friend. Thank you for joining and have an awesome night yourself. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Have a great night. All right. JDS being announced right now, getting a big pop from the crowd, walking to the center of the cage and pointing down in signature JDS style. By the way, he looks freaking amazing. He looks like he did back when he was fighting in the UFC. The dude is stayed in incredible shape. All right, here we go, guys. What do you guys think of the black cage? The black cage is kind of interesting, isn't it? All right. Robelis Despaigne versus Junior Cigano dos Santos, the former UFC champion, heavyweight Hall of Famer. I got $1 on JDS. Just came in. Vamos. Let's go. All right. If you guys want to lock in with me, opening bell starting now. 5 minutes left. Robelis hands down, creeping in. Junior circling, hands up. Robelis looking for that big shot. Head kick to a front hook, both blocked by Cigano. Beautiful jab there by Robelis. That got through, but the big shot afterwards was blocked by JDS. Nice leg kick for Junior Dos Santos. Robelis Despaigne is in there with a veteran. He may get JDS out of there, but he's got a really tough opponent in front of him. Big swings by Robelis. But look at the confidence. I mean, this guy is in there with a former world champion who's known for his boxing and just completely hands down, inching in straight into range on JDS. Junior looking for a single. Beautiful defense there by Robelis Despaigne. Front kick by Robelis. Ooh, nice inside leg kick by Junior. That one put Robelis on the ground for a second. Robelis timed that leg kick well and answered it with a straight right. Big leg kick for Robelis himself. Let's see. Junior still works. Junior's trying to get himself in here. He's trying to work his way in an intelligent way. He knows that his best shot here is to get inside because the range is just so enormous for the Cuban. 84-inch reach advantage. Or not advantage, 84-inch reach for the Cuban. But I think about a 10-inch reach advantage. But Junior with the Junior's best chance is boxing and clinches and grappling. So he needs to figure out a way that he can get himself inside. So far, been unable to do it. Robelis with a nice 3-punch combination there. Junior's working that inside leg kick to try to get in on Robelis, but it's so far been unsuccessful. Oh, beautiful 1-2 by Despaigne there. He timed that well as JDS was coming in. Oh! Uppercut for Despaigne. JDS is just so tough, man. This guy is like KOing people in like 10 seconds. Oh, big hook by Robelis. Head kick by Despaigne. Junior circling out, still on his feet, still got his legs under him. Oh! Straight for Despaigne. Junior still seems to have his feet underneath him. Despaigne with these big looping uppercuts, but one of them got through there a second ago. Despaigne, again, timing the leg kicks well and then answering with a shot right over the top. Beautiful. Oh! Oh, beautiful KO by Robelis. Absolute missile strikes. Wow. What a knockout for Robelis Despaigne. Wow, I want to see that combination played again. He timed the leg kick, absolutely beautiful 1-2. Junior tried to reset for a second, and I think he threw another. It was either a straight or it was a hook, but my God. Cuba in the chat. Vamos, Cuba. JDS, man, yeah. Dude, JDS is one of my favorites and a great former champion. But the reality is 42 years old. It's probably, with a knockout like that, it's probably time to call it a day. Wow. Wow. Man, Despaigne is fun. I tell you what, if Francis wins tonight, that's the fight to make. Okay, so it was a 2 and then a hook and then a 2. 2-3-2. Wow. Absolute 2-2-3-2. Boom. Fantastic. Man, it's a shame that Robelis can't grapple at all, because if he could grapple, man, I think about the matchups in the UFC. If he could have avoided getting cut and kept those fights with Costa, and I'm drawing a blank on who else he lost to, but kept those fights standing, my God, there's very few people that can stand with that guy. I tell you what, I really, really think, let's pop over to the Wellmaker fight here. Paramount Plus. All right. Good call. Who said that? KSR. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Juan Diaz, Malcolm Wellmaker. I will call this fight now. And we are cooking with grease here, guys. In Bredimov, I'm calling it now. Tom Aspinall will leave the UFC and we'll get a big money fight with Francis. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Eddie Hearn is managing him. Is Dana going to let him out of the contract that easily? He's got a huge beef with Eddie Hearn, and so he's going to use that as a is he going to use that as a bargaining chip? JDS should not be fighting anymore. I agree. He probably should call it after that. If he wants to go to RAF or do some jiu-jitsu or whatever, I'm fine with it. But in reality, Nick in the chat, what's up, bro? Time for JDS to retire for good. But how about that Robelis Despaigne? Nick, I'm interested to know, if Francis wins tonight with a knockout like that, and obviously if we can't get the John Jones super fight, that would take precedence. But Robelis Despaigne versus Francis Ngannou, sign me up for that. All 6 wins coming by way of knockout. All right, Ariel Helwani in with Robelis Despaigne. I'm going to call the Malcolm Wellmaker fight here. Diaz working some outside leg kicks. Wellmaker looking to get his way in. Ariel's asking Robelis if he can describe the emotions that he's feeling. All right, Wellmaker and Diaz still kind of feeling each other out here a little bit. Wellmaker fighting on the outside. This is a big one for Malcolm Wellmaker, right? Because this is kind of where the rubber meets the road. Is he truly elite? Is he somebody that we're going to see and put our our hopes into becoming a next big thing? Is the UFC going to put some marketing dollars behind this young man, or is he just not what he was cracked up to be when he first came into the UFC? Juan Diaz is a very good opponent for him tonight. He's going to bring out the dog in him. So far, nothing major. We've had about a minute 20 seconds. Wellmaker with a nice body kick there. It's been kind of the battle of the outside or the front foot. Wellmaker looking to get that foot positioning, and Diaz is doing a good job of circling out and getting the advantageous position. But then Wellmaker is landing a pretty decent body kick once Diaz settles. Let's see. Diaz is doing a good job not letting Robelis get inside and not letting him plant with his lead foot on the outside to really start to throw that power. So credit to Diaz so far. He's doing a pretty good job. Wellmaker looking for that body kick again, but he decided to pull it. So far, still not much. Yeah, base Volkanovski, enjoy your Robelis. Diaz not letting Robelis get inside. I think you meant Wellmaker, but yeah. Wellmaker changed for his traditional boxing stance. Yeah. And Nick, oh yeah, Robelis is mid, but has power, good win, but we can see why he didn't last long in the UFC. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. So if he can, it was all grappling based, right? So if he can clean up his grappling and think about a fight like Francis, like if there, obviously I know Francis used wrestling to beat Ciryl Gane, and there's levels to this game. But if we're thinking about potential opponents for Francis outside of the UFC's roster, let's assume that John's not getting released and from his contract, nor is Tom. Robelis kind of seems to me to be the front runner, right? Good one there, base Volkanovski. Diaz on the back of Wellmaker here. Okay, so he did call out Francis Ngannou. Robelis did. Yeah, so Robelis does want Ngannou if he wins tonight. All right, Diaz working a takedown on Wellmaker here. So far, Wellmaker's able to stay on his feet. 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the round, and Wellmaker is now down, but right back up. Good tenacity there by Wellmaker. Oh, and Wellmaker's down. Beautiful slam there by Diaz, working the back. I think this is a round for Diaz so far, guys. If those of you that switched over to the Paramount, I think Diaz is winning this round. There's not a whole lot that was happening on the feet in the first few minutes, but then Diaz has really kind of come on with the cage initiatives and the grappling. So they just said a statistic crazy. Robelis landed 51% of his punches in that first round in that KO. We got Gina Carano in the building. All right, Wellmaker's back to his feet. Spinning back kick for Wellmaker, missed the mark. Oh, beautiful overhand by Diaz there. Okay, what was that? An illegal knee, it looks like. it looked like Wellmaker was trying to get back up. I need to see that again in slow motion because it was Diaz landed an overhand, which I don't think it was like a knockdown necessarily, so to speak, but it did kind of knock Wellmaker off his feet as he was walking back. And then there was a knee. Now let's see on the replay where the knee was. Let's see where that knee was, because that's going to make all the difference here, isn't it? So okay, so we have yeah, I mean, beautiful overhand that did knock Wellmaker down, but then he's getting back up to his feet. So boom, back up to his feet. I don't know. I mean, it looked like he was getting. It depends on when that second hand came back up. Let's see what they say here. Yeah, base looked mainly shoulder to me. Yeah. Let me see if I can move this so I'm not looking so strangely off camera. All right. Let's see here. All right. Okay, so the ref's saying be very careful. I'm not going to take a point. Yeah. Who said I like the clearness of the ref? Same. Yeah, that was good. So no point deduction. All right. Let's see. Who do we have next on the Netflix MMA card? Looks like Cross versus Parnasse. Okay. So end of round one here. Wellmaker versus Diaz. Definitely a round for Diaz there. Joey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the live. How you doing tonight? Elton. Yo, Elton, what's up, man? Good to see you. Glad he didn't take a point. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that was it was kind of a weird thing. So it did look shoulder. It did also it happened in real time where Wellmaker was standing up. And in fairness, his hand was almost completely off of the mat when that landed. So I think that was not as clear cut. I'm glad that a point wasn't taken. Thought it was MMA Joey. No, I mean not to my knowledge. No, Joe, are you the MMA Joey, or just a different Joey? Yeah, heck yeah. Let's go do Ho Choi. All right, here we go. Ooh, beautiful overhand there by Diaz. Malcolm Wellmaker ate that well. So Wellmaker's still trying to feint and get himself inside. So far, not really pulling the trigger on anything major. Diaz with a nice outside leg kick. I'm at 4 minutes and 32 seconds of round number two, guys, by the way. Let's see. And if you guys are on X tonight, all of those posts that you see on X, that's the little bro. That's Nick doing work over there. So show him some love on X. So we figured since we couldn't be together tonight, I would handle the live stream and he would handle the X commentary. Joey is just a different Joey. In fact, not MMA Joey. That's good. That's good. All right, here we go. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. Looks like we got the next match. So far, there's not been any crossover, which is nice. We were able to watch the full JDS Robelis Despaigne fight, and now so far we've seen the full Malcolm Wellmaker and Juan Diaz fight. Again with the outs, Diaz is doing a really good job of keep. So One of the things to look out for, and this is, I mean, I'm a southpaw, and Nick explains this better than I do, but because we're both southpaws. But when you strike and you're a southpaw, most people don't fight left-handed fighters all that often. And it's really important when you do to win what's called the front foot battle. And when you see where their orientation, because their lead legs are almost touching each other. And so what you want to do is get your lead leg on the outside of their lead leg, because that lines you up to put power straight down the middle on them. And Diaz has done a really good job tonight of circling out and away from the power of Malcolm Wellmaker. And he's not allowed Wellmaker to really sit down and plant and fire with that power hand, which is why you've not seen Wellmaker really unload some of the power that he has. We've seen a few spinning. And so what's the antidote to that? When you see somebody circling out like that, that's why he tried a couple of those sort of spinning heel kicks, but I don't think he has that tool that deep in his arsenal yet. And so it wasn't effective, but Diaz again winning this round on top of Wellmaker. This is not where you want to be if you're Malcolm Wellmaker. This kid had a lot of steam coming into the UFC, suffered a loss in his last fight, and looks like if things continue to go the same, he may suffer one here tonight. A better Joey. There we go. I love it. Dunny 420 LOL. Welcome to the chat, man. Thank you for being here. I think Diaz wants to, not Diaz. I think DC wants to, Wellmaker. Yeah, I can hear the Netflix commentary because I have the Netflix on my TV right here and I have the UFC here on my phone. And so I can't hear what they're saying. So I'm just calling this fight completely blind, which honestly is better. Sometimes I don't get bias from the commentary. But if they're calling, let me know. Are they calling this fight as if Wellmaker is doing a great job? Because this has been all Diaz the entire time so far. If DC's doing that, he knows better than that. Come on, Daniel. Those awfully long breaks Netflix is taking is in fact working out well. Yeah, it is working out well, actually. But it's going to suck once the UFC's over. Then it's just going to be a long break for nothing. Who is the most likely name medic fights in Serbia? Oh, shoot. Wow. I was looking at the comments and missed a finish. Amasov versus medic. Take my money. Let's go. I need to see this finish again. Damn. I can't believe I missed that. Let's see here. By the way, guys, 45 on YouTube at the moment. Thank you all so much for joining. Yeah, Wellmaker seems to be kind of a hype train a little bit. So let's see here. Again, beautiful, well-timed takedown by Diaz. He transitioned to the back really nice here. Again, it was all about that outside foot battle from the beginning that I was talking about. Sort of modified backpack because he doesn't have both hooks in. Gets the rear naked choke. And squeeze, and that's it. Tap. Wellmaker taps. Yeah, I mean, if we think about what Sean Strickland did this past weekend, right, how he defended the hands, it was beautiful. And in a lot of ways, he fought the smartest fight that you can fight against Khamzat Chimaev, which is to say that I know this guy's going to take me down. I need to learn and refine my defense from submissions, because just because he can take me down doesn't mean he can finish me if I can defend submissions. And I need to work on my scrambles back up, which is why you saw Sean taken down 9 times and still win the fight. And he was in no danger in that first round. Malcolm Wellmaker there, when Sean had both hands on the attack arm of Khamzat, he can't be choked. Malcolm Wellmaker was fighting the hands up here way too late, and that's why he just tapped. So, yeah. Let's see here. Amasov versus Medic, take my money. That's a great fight. Marab is on Cross's corner. Okay, I like that. No more champagne. 777. The cat's out of the bag. Wellmaker can't grapple. Yes, that cat is now officially very, very, very well out of the bag. Nick Barnhill. Wellmaker got 0 ground game. Fraud check is officially in. Yes, it is. Will we reach 200 before the Allen fight on YouTube? You are the most underrated MMA analyst on YouTube. Thank you for all the comments, for the content that is going up on the screen, my friend. KSR, thank you so much. I don't know if we'll reach 200. And to be honest, it would be great, but otherwise, we're going to hang out with the people that we have here in the chat. You guys are the best. I appreciate each and every one of you that watch these videos. Nick does as well. Our goal, and we've stated this now, a couple of times, but we're sort of making it public. Like, I have a day job. Nick has stuff that he does. He's a fighter that's in training and stuff like that. But our goal is this channel and MMA content, and our goal by the end of 2027 is to make the Barnhill Brothers MMA something that we can do together full time as a career. And then when we're able to do that, like I know we can give you guys so much more than we are giving you, and we're trying to give as much as we can right now. But when we can focus on this full time, I promise you guys, we will provide what we hope to be the best MMA content on YouTube. Did you see Armand got into a big altercation at the Netflix event? No, I didn't see that. I was calling the Wellmaker fight here, and I'm listening to Juan Diaz now. But what happened? Let me know what happened. Let's see, Joey. I walked away and missed it. That's awful for Wellmaker. You can tell he really wants to get better. He's up against legit competition, though. Yeah, he's showing that he's not really able to really compete with the grapplers at the highest level, unfortunately. And honestly, Diaz won the striking too. That outside foot battle was won by Diaz all night long. He was moving around and not letting Wellmaker settle into his power. Really good performance by Juan Diaz. Base Volkanovski and Joyer, that's a great question. Where's the revenue stream or something like that? So a couple of things. One, YouTube pays AdSense for the ads that you guys see that they place on our videos. We make a small percentage of that. TikTok has a creator rewards program that is quite nice, honestly. Meta has their own thing as well. But mainly the biggest thing is like, sponsors. So sponsors will, pay to have their ad read on a video or have their company mentioned in a short or something like that. And we're just now scratching the surface with those types of deals. There's nothing huge yet, but we are, like, when you combine everything together, it's become enough for us to be able to hire our brother away full time for his job, and actually very thankfully pay him more than he was making over there to be our editor full time, which is why you see a lot more videos getting pumped out now. So yeah, that's basically it. And as you grow and the numbers grow, those revenue amounts grow as well. Let's see here. I am Imra Kurt. What happened to Junior Dos Santos? Yeah, he got knocked out, man. Unfortunately, he got knocked out by Robelis Despaigne, but it was fun while it lasted, and Robelis is an electric striker. And Base Volkanovski and Joyer, yes, basically. Accumulation of the social medias, sponsors, and then, we haven't played around with anything like this yet, but when you do what do you call that? Like Patreon content, stuff like that, where it's like, paid content behind a paywall. A lot of big names do that. We don't do that, and a lot of people do well with it. But yeah, that's to answer your question. That's basically it. Yeah. And then merch, which we haven't rolled that out either. But I'd love to know if you guys would actually buy some merch if we came up with some really slick stuff. Would you be interested in purchasing some merchandise? We've toyed around with that idea. All right. So we got Parnasse versus Cross, round one. If you want to lock in with where I'm at, 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first round. And then we don't use threads. I think we have threads just by default, but I don't ever check it. But yeah, we probably should do that. We post mostly on X while the fights are going on, but maybe we should repurpose some of that content for threads as well. Who's fighting right now? Jay, are you asking about the UFC or Netflix? Because on Netflix, it's Parnasse versus Cross. And in the UFC, I believe Ho Choi is next. Malcolm Wellmaker fight just ended, and he was submitted in the second round. Heather O'Neill, you are the best. Thank you so much. You would definitely buy merch. Well, we love you. We appreciate your support of this channel. Thank you for being here on the lives, and I hope you're enjoying the fights. Let's see here. Yeah, we could just copy and paste the X post to Threads. Yeah, maybe we might do that, man. Nick is actually working the X tonight, so maybe Nick, if you see that, maybe you can pop on Threads and put some stuff up there as well. All right, so we got 3 minutes left in the Parnasse Cross fight. Parnasse working a really nice jab. Oh, beautiful 1-2 there by Parnasse. But Cross's game, man, fighting hard off the cage, swinging like crazy, though. I feel he's going to get caught if he keeps swinging crazy like this. Parnasse appears to be a little bit more buttoned up, but Cross is, okay, beautiful level change there, working a single for Cross. Good good pummeling in there to get 50-50 for Parnasse in reverse position. Parnasse looking for a takedown of his own, defended well by Cross, but Parnasse does actually finish it. Cross on his back now, working to get up. Parnasse dropping some bombs. Nothing has really landed yet, but full mount now for Parnasse. Full mount now, back take, working the backpack. Beautiful shots. You see Cross is doing what Malcolm Wellmaker didn't do in that last fight that I was talking about, which is the double on the threat hand. You know, you got to, it's one thing to reach up and try to prevent that choke when it's right here. I mean, you're just kind of just trying to fight against anything you can. Big shots for Parnasse, big shots. This one could be ended here in a second. Big shots getting through for Parnasse. Cross just shelled up at this point. I think this one's going to be over here in a second. Is that Jason Herzog taking a long, hard look. Cross raining just absolute bind. He's got to be careful not to hit the back of the head. Oh, beautiful. Cross is back up, but huge shots for Parnasse. Parnasse is it Parnasse or Parnasse? Beautiful body shot by Parnasse. That's really good shot selection there. You can't just headhunt. When you have somebody hurt like that, go to the body. Another absolutely devastating uppercut, and that's going to be it. Yeah, the body shots really, really effective when you have an opponent hurt. You never think to do it because you always want to headhunt and get the person out of there. But really well timed and placed body shots when you're getting somebody on the ropes, highly effective. Highly effective. Joey, how did Brundage look? Saw that he won. Good for him. Yeah, I was setting up everything. I only caught little bits and pieces, but he looked really, really good tonight. Jay, I need him to make it to the second round. Who I hope that wasn't Cross that you were talking about. Threads at this point post on Truth Social. Yeah, I don't have that either. So I mean, honestly, we're doing TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Kick. I think that's it. But it's just like it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, adding another one is challenging. But if we can just copy and paste, that's easy enough. Cross got abused live. Yeah, he did. That was a beating. He was swinging for the fences there, but you know, Parnasse was way more buttoned up. And if you look at this finishing sequence, which I'm watching right now, if you watch here, he'll go to the body here in a second. Let's see here. He realized he's got him hurt. Boom, boom, 2 shots to the body. That slumped him, and then a big body uppercut right there. And that kind of hunched him over, which allowed him to finish the fight. So really good shot selection there for the end of the fight. Let's see. Base Volkanovski and Joy only ever used YouTube content, but will drop your Instagram and TikTok and X follows. Now, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's just, I think it's Barnhill Bros on everything. either Barnhill Bros or the Barnhill Bros. But maybe Chris or Nick can drop that in the chat. All right, so we got Daniel Santos, Ho Choi build up happening right now. JR, yeah, he Cross lost. Parnasse knocked him out in the first round. Did I catch Joe Ochoa's fight last weekend? Yeah, Joe Ochoa was he was one of the legs in my combo. Unfortunately, that got busted in the co-main event, but I picked Tatsuro Taira foolishly, and otherwise that bad boy would have hit. So why is the man touching the fighters? Who's touching the fighters? Oh, he don't let them celebrate. I didn't see it. Yeah, so I was in the comment. I didn't see what happened. In Bredimov, a bit of an odd question, but if you or Nick use creatine, I'm starting kickboxing. We're just wondering if you use 100%. Yeah, I love creatine. Nick uses it as well too. It's a great supplement. It's really good for cognitive function. It's really good for muscle and strength development. I'm in my mid 30s now, so trying to retain muscle, retain strength is one of the goals of mine. I feel like it helps with explosiveness, and I will suffice it to say I am no nutritionist or doctor, so please take that with a grain of salt. But yes, I'm a big fan of creatine, and I feel like it's been studied as a supplement for a long time, and it's one of the few that's shown to be really effective. Bo Fit Best Channel. That one's going up on the screen. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here tonight. What are you watching? Are you watching Netflix or are you watching the UFC Fight Night? Or are you toggling back and forth like I am here? Let's see. Rajesh Parnasse looks so good. The talent from Europe and Eurasia are so unknown to the mainstream. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good people in all those parts of the world that nobody knows about, but hopefully they will soon enough. So the hair loss stuff is a myth. Yeah, I mean, I'm a case one of one. You know what Nick looks like, so we haven't lost any hair. So yeah, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but it hasn't caused me to lose any hair. Split screen. I like it. I like it. Man, this Parnasse guy's a lot of fun. I'd love to see him in the UFC at some point. He seems like he's at that level. All right. So I'm now that we've got that out of the way, let me pop another poll up in the chat here. So I want to know who you guys think is going to win this next fight. Who wins the co-main? Santos or Choi? All right. Ho Choi walking out right now. There you go. Nick said his hair and beard got thicker after starting creatine. I can't be the only one not liking the black canvas. I'm so partial to the UFC's canvas, right? But I will say it's not as bad as some of the others that have been horrendous. Like the gold canvas for UFC 200, horrible. The black is not as nice as the UFC classic light gray, but it's not horrible. I'm not hating it. I asked earlier, but wasn't sure if you answered. Are you doing a early stream in 2 weeks for the China card? Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Let me go and see just before I make a promise that I can't keep. When is that? Fight Night song. 6 a.m. Oh man, you guys are killing me with these 6 a.m. Yes, I did it for the Australia card, so it's only fair if I do it for the China card. So yes, and we do have a lot of Asian fans. So I know China's not in YouTube, but Or YouTube is not in China, I should say rather. But yeah, so we will do that one. So many empty seats in LA. So much for Ronda's biggest card of all time. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Because I think each one of those lights, it appears to be like when a person sits down, the light goes away. So I don't think there's very many seats filled in the upper parts of the stadium. Rajesh, also the fighter who lost because his foot caught a glass piece, forgot his name. He was booked for a fight in the UFC, did not fight. He was also a great fighter. Who was, I'm drawing a blank. Who was that? Yeah. All right. Ho Choi, 30. Man, it's so crazy that Ho Choi is 35 years old, isn't it? Because he had that long layoff for the military service, and he was like a kid when he fought Cub Swanson. But I guess that was 10 years ago now. And what an epic fight that was. Somebody asked earlier what was some of the best fights ever. I forgot to mention that one, but that's the thing. There's just so many that you forget. But Ho Choi versus Cub Swanson was an all-time banger. But can't believe he's 35 years old now. That is truly wild. Take creatine for the beard to grow. Got it. Thanks. Not medical advice, Elton, but it seemed to have worked for Nick. Base Volkanovski, am enjoying these 6 a.m. cards. For you, it's 3 a.m. For me right now, and I get like another 2 hours on this Netflix. So yeah, so okay, so 3 a.m. So man, you're going to be up till 5 or 6 in the morning, aren't you? That's crazy. Well, I will try to do my best to entertain you while you stay up to the wee hours of the evening or the morning, I should say. Cedric Dumbo? Yeah, I don't know. I can't recall who he's talking about. I'm not really sure. But all right here. So looks like we may have the first situation where we end up with a little bit of a crossover, but I'm hoping not because Nate Diaz is it. Are they doing Francis first or Diaz versus Perry first? Because I've seen it both ways on the card. Roger. Okay, yeah. So it was Cedric. Yeah, that would be a great fight. All right, here we go. Calling the Ho Choi win, right? Or somebody said Choi win, but calling the Ho Choi fight and the Santos fight right now. 4 minutes and 54 seconds in the first round if you want to lock in with where I am. Huge spinning attacks and big kicks from Santos right out of the gate. Absolutely massive switch body kick for Santos. He's coming out throwing some heavy leather and big kicks, tons of spinning attacks. Would like to see him set him up a little bit better. Ho Choi with a nice calf kick there. Beautiful hook for Santos. Man, Santos is not trying to make this a long night. This could be a problem if Ho Choi is able to weather the storm here, though, because Santos is not fighting a fight that will lend to him having a gas tank in the later rounds. He's going with that switch kick to the spinning heel kick, but he's missing those pretty big, but he is landing a front hook on Ho Choi pretty well. Ho Choi still composed, still trying to make his reads on Santos. Santos is swinging big, but so far, excuse me, so far nothing really landed of significance. Francis first. Oh, thanks, Joey. Yeah. Beautiful outside leg kick to the calf again for Ho Choi. Santos is swinging big here, but Choi's starting to get the reads on him now. Choi's starting to defend these well. Kick to the body there for Santos, followed by a hook to the body for Ho Choi. Nice jab for Choi. Santos, big shots. A couple of them landed. Choi threw a hook over the middle that was slipped there by Santos, rolled. All right. So we got Francis Ngannou, Philipe Lins coming up next on the Netflix card, and Ho Choi, the co-main event taking place right now on Paramount Plus. Ho Choi starting to open up a little bit. Santos with a nice hook. Ho Choi, I think, is starting to get the timing of Santos a little bit, but he's still got to be careful. Some of these big shots are making their way through, even though they're a little bit telegraphed. Nice knee there for Santos. Oh, nice knee followed by a big shot. Man, Choi's got a chin on him, man. Choi just had a few big shots. South Africa in the house. What's up? Nice jab there for Choi. Let's see what Santos's gas tank looks like if this one gets out of the first. Nice spinning kick to the body there for Santos. That one looked like it got Choi's attention. Double jab with an uppercut up the middle to an overhand. Yeah, some of these for Santos are starting to get through now, but Choi's got a nice jab that he's working. But he's getting hit with some big shots. He needs to be careful here. Santos throwing some serious heat. The problem with Santos's shots is they're very telegraphed. I mean, he's lunging in with everything he's got, but hey, some of them are still getting through. And even if he's landing at a lower percentage clip, he's throwing heat with everything he's throwing. So even if he's only landing at, say, 25, 30% of his shots, there's still quite a few big shots that are getting through. And some of them have really registered on Choi. The knees and the uppercuts, just like that, there have been the name of the game. But boy, does Ho Choi ever have a chin on him. Man, he's got a serious chin. Just think back about that Cub Swanson fight. Cub Swanson versus Ho Choi. This all-time great fight. If you've never seen it, you should watch that fight. All right, Santos has got Choi up against the cage now. Beautiful inside leg trip, but Choi using the wizard to get back to his feet. Nice couple of body shots there for Santos, followed by a hook up the top for Choi. All right, that's the end of round one. Choi doing the same thing JDM was doing against Prates, which is putting on that high guard and ducking down, which is leaving him wide open for knees and uppercuts. Yeah, good read there. Good read, my friend. How much time left in the round? That was the end of the first round. So we're in between one and two on Paramount. Such a shame that Choi didn't stay active after he beat Landwehr. He looked great in that fight. Yeah, I was excited to have him back. But unfortunately, I think just most of his prime years were just eaten up by military service and inactivity. So it's a bummer, but it is what it is. So hopefully, at 35 years old, the thing about Choi is he's always exciting. Like you love to watch him fight, even if he's not winning. So he's one of those guys that people will always tune in for. He's got a hell of a chin on him. We're about to start round two here. And yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. Him versus Cub Swanson all those years ago made me a big fan. All right, so we got Francis versus Lins. Still have not walked out. We're going into round two, just starting right now. I have 4 minutes and 53 seconds if you want to lock in with where I am. 4 minutes and 53 seconds left in the round. Yeah, Santos trying for that switch kick to the body, followed by a spinning heel kick, but nothing doing that time. Choi sees it coming. That's a big movement that he's doing every time he does that. So it's pretty well telegraphed. Choi still aggressing, trying to get his boxing going. Yeah, you got to wonder about Ho Choi if he had not had to do that military service and had had those prime years where he could have gone, because he was very good. Could he have surpassed the Korean Zombie perhaps as the best Korean mixed martial artist? I don't know. It'd be a hard task, but Ho Choi certainly looked like he had that type of promise when he was in his mid-20s. Big inside leg kick there for Santos. A little bit of body work for Ho Choi. Nice jab. Nice jab. Santos looking for a takedown. Defending well so far is Choi. Pushing the head away, trying to get his legs separated a little bit more, work that other underhook there. 3 minutes and 29 seconds left in the round here, guys, for me. Barnhill Bros in the house. What's up? Thank you for joining the live. I appreciate you being here. Meditude. All right. So far, this has been pretty good, guys. For those of you just joining now, we've not had any crossover where there was a UFC fight going on simultaneous to a Netflix fight of substance, that is. So far, since the main card has started for Netflix, we've been able to get 1-1-1-1. So we saw the Robelis Despaigne JDS fight, and then we switched over, and then we switched back to Netflix, and now we are on the co-main event of the UFC Paramount card. If you're just tuning in, Ho Choi versus Santos. 2 minutes and 37 seconds left in the second round. Santos throwing big shots, little bit of cage entanglement, some grappling. He's landed some really heavy uppercuts and knees on Ho Choi, but in true Choi fashion, he doesn't go away easy. Has not hit the canvas, and a lot of big spinning attacks for Santos. What's going on with the Santos fight? Where are y'all watching it on? I am watching it on this phone right here that you can see in frame. And then I've got it on a stand so I can see it. That's just my iPhone. And then I've got the Netflix over here. You couldn't see it from your vantage, but yeah, I'm watching it on a TV that I've got set up. So trying to call both. But yeah, Paramount Plus is where the UFC is happening. All right. We got 36 in the chat right now on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate everybody. Ho Choi still in this fight, man. Santos definitely has landed the bigger shots, but Choi is coming back, working a good jab, finding his rhythm in boxing range. And again, as I said, if Santos doesn't get Choi out of there early, is he going to get on his bike and start to breathe heavy? Because it's very, very difficult to fight the way he's been fighting for 15 minutes. So yeah, if you look at that, 58 significant strikes landed in the first round, but Choi coming back this round in a big way, 37-27. So look for Ho Choi to really run away with things in the third round here if Santos is not able to recover himself and get his second win heading into the final round, because Ho Choi is starting to tee off on him here in boxing range. And that's the live by the sword, die by the sword, right? The way Santos fights, either you come out and you start your opponent right out of the gate, but when you have an experienced opponent like Ho Choi, oh, wow, that's it. That is it. Ho Choi with a body shot finish. Let's go. Let's go, Ho Choi. Let's go for that. Wow. Man, that is just the Ho Choi story, right? He is as tough as it gets. That guy ate some massive shots in the first round, weathered the storm, and came back and just grizzled his opponent, grinded him down. I'm so happy. Wow. Liver City. I love it. That's going up on the screen. Liver City it is. Liverpool. Let's see that finishing sequence again here. Beautiful hooks. It was just the clean 1s and 2s. And then boom, boom. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What? So double 1-2 liver shot. 1-1-2 liver shot. That is a combination that if any of you have ever been in a boxing gym, you've worked that combination. Double jab, straight liver shot. And it was just absolutely beautifully placed. Ho Choi. TKO victory in the second round. He was a plus 300 underdog I'm seeing coming through the chat now. Let's go. Let's go, Ho Choi. Light the chat up. Heather O'Neill, thank you so much. You are the best. We appreciate you. Best MMA podcast fan. We appreciate you, Heather. Yeah, that was a thing of beauty. And that was, yeah, Joey, you're absolutely right. Choi has a very sophisticated boxing game. That's just wearing your opponent down and, weathering the storm, blocking the big shots, defending intelligently, waiting for your opponent to gas out, and then using your skills, which are better than his, to get him out of there. Brilliant, brilliant performance by Ho Choi. That was awesome. That was really awesome. Choi won. Yeah, yes. Mary Jane Vega Fria. Yes, Choi won. Knockout, technical knockout in the second round. Ho Choi, let's go. All right. And it's just perfect timing, guys. I'll tell you what, I'm going to charge my phone before the main event on Paramount because I'm down to 11% on that. And you're welcome. You're welcome, Mary Jane. So we got Philipe Lins walking out right now. So let me put a poll in the chat. I think I know the way this poll is going to go, but I'm curious. Who wins this heavyweight matchup on Netflix? Francis. Would help if I put a question mark there. Ngannou or Lins? Let me know, guys. Let me know in the poll who's going to win this fight. And they're saying this is the first of 3 main events. So they're touting this as a 3 main event fight card. I don't know what I think about that. What do you guys think? Did Santos do the same thing as Korean Tyson did to Santos, underestimating Choi? I don't know if it was so much an underestimating as opposed to like, I just want to showcase my skill. Like, oh, maybe an overconfidence more than an underestimating. But like, I'm going to showcase my skills. I'm going to get this guy out of there early with something emphatic. And when you do fight like that and you get a first round knockout, people are riding super high on you. People are super hot on you as a prospect. But when you don't get the knockout and you're not prepared from a cardiovascular standpoint to fight like that for 15 minutes, you saw he was starting to get on his bike and starting to open that mouth and breathe heavy. And Ho Choi just came in very disciplined, hands up, good, clean boxing. And yeah, that was all she wrote. All she wrote. All right. Willie Cat is talented. I'm glad Choi had to overcome such adversity. Makes the win even sweeter. Yeah, totally agree, Joey. So that was sick. All right. We got some people taking Lins in the chat. I like it. Those of you that are taking Lins, I mean, what makes you take it? Are we thinking knockout? Are we thinking he can go 5 rounds with Francis? What are we thinking here? Francis Ngannou. 7-fight MMA win streak, 2023 boxing debut, and the lineal MMA heavyweight champion. All right, let's see. So 70-30 Francis now. So that means 3 of y'all have picked Lins to win. KSR people that picked Lins probably put $5 on him. Maybe. I'd be cheering for. I'd be picking him too if I had. But no, I stayed away from this one because I didn't like the. I mean, Francis was a huge favorite, and I just didn't like Lins's chances as an underdog here. I don't think he's going to be able to clip him. All right. Francis Ngannou making his way with the Ngannou black and gold trunks. All right. What do you guys think of the production quality so far on Netflix? I think it's pretty good. I mean, obviously the UFC is the industry standard, but this to me is better than what Bellator and the PFL would put on. The lights, the music, the theater. I don't love the long layovers in between each fight, but it is a pretty well produced show for the first ever MMA event like this. Choi called out Pitbull. I think that's an easy Choi win in this current. Yeah, Choi would knock Patricio Pitbull out, I believe, at this point. Dana, hold on. Dana just announced International Fight Week on Live Gang with Conor. So so Conor McGregor. Hold on, I need to go to. Is that Instagram or where is that? Let me go to it on my phone. I am not seeing it anywhere. Connor and Max. Yeah. What is he announcing that on? I'm not seeing it. Are they on Instagram live or I knew Dana was going to do that right before the Francis fight. That's hysterical. Can confirm it's true. Okay, wow. Cool. Yeah, I don't know where cuz I'm looking on my phone right now and I don't see anything. It just ended. Okay. Must have been a live. So was it Instagram live that just ended? Is that what it was? They posted it. Okay, let me see. All right. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. I mean, I think we all kind of thought that was going to be what the 329 main event was, but yeah, now we have it. Now we know. All right. I'm really hoping this fight is over with before Melky Costa and Arnold Allen. I almost said Brendan Allen, but yeah, Brendan Allen's definitely not fighting Melky Costa tonight. So yeah, Arnold Allen versus Melky Costa. We're gonna watch Philipe Lins versus Francis. I'm hoping this doesn't go all 5 rounds, so we can then switch back and watch and call together Melky Costa versus Arnold Allen. Curious to know for those of you that just came into the chat, who do you have in that one? I picked Melky Costa, but that was a tough call for me, and I would not be surprised if Arnold Allen pulled off an upset. Holloway at welterweight. Yeah, we knew Connor wasn't coming back at 55. Um, I don't think Connor ever will fight at 55 again. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, Francis Ngannou getting announced now. All right, Francis Ngannou MMA fight is upon us. All right, the chat's changing a little bit. 79% for Ngannou, 21% for Lins now. Lins is almost as big as Francis. Yeah. Well, I think he was pretty like big difference as far as the weight. I think what was Lynn's like 220 something and Francis was 257. So the weight was pretty drastic in the weigh-ins, even though the optics might not tell that story. Francis still looks great though, man. Even almost 40 years old, still looks great. All right, here we go, guys. I will tell you exactly when the fight starts on my end so you can lock in time wise if you'd like to. All right, touch of the gloves and we're off. Okay, we got the full card here. Just quickly, I'm going to screenshot this. Connor versus Holloway. Benoit Saint Denis versus Patty is your co-main. Sandhagen Bautista, Roy Val versus Lonnie Kavanaugh, and Gable Stevenson versus Elisha Ellison. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. For now, Francis Ngannou is in the cage, and there is 4 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first round. He just landed a big outside leg kick on Philipe Lins. Francis rocking the split trunks. Lynn's moving around on the outside, certainly respecting the power here of Francis. Couple of hooks for Ngannou. Ooh, big knee for Ngannou. Lynn's looking to grapple. Ngannou's got a guillotine threat, but that's nowhere near a position where he could actually finish at the elbows. Way too high up. He's just going to use this to try to get a more established position and get off the cage. You got Eric Nixick right there in the corner of Francis giving his fighter instructions. Man, this undercard looks sick too. We'll get into that in a minute. All right, so Francis still up against the cage with Philipe Lins. Knee for Francis. We have a separation. Big outside leg kick for Francis. Man, look at the size difference in legs between these two. Hook for Francis. Another hook for Francis. Uppercut. He's got Lins hurt. Big sprawl for Francis. Lins looking to grapple. Francis is having none of it. Big sprawl. Big sprawl. Francis is on top. Full guard, but Francis is raining down some ground and pound. Elbow for Francis. Lins looking to get back to his feet and stall position here. He's got his hands clasped behind Francis's back. Francis breaking that clasp, trying to posture up so he can land some more ground and pound. Ngannou still raining some shots down. The once closed guard of Philipe Lins is now open. Big shots for Ngannou on the... Oh! Lins is on shaky legs here. Lins is on shaky legs. Big head kick, swing and a miss for Francis. Francis is looking for that finish. Straight two for Lins. I wish Francis would have cut off the cage a little bit better there. He had a chance to keep Lins sort of backed into a corner, but he didn't do a great job of cage cutting. Either way, he's the aggressor once more. Lins looking to grapple again. Francis has got Philipe Lins up against the cage. A couple of knees were thrown by Ngannou. Standing on the foot now of Philipe Lins. So far connected 22 strikes of 38 thrown for Francis and only 3 for Philipe Lins. Yeah, it's all one-sided so far. Dana knew what he was doing with that announcement. Yes, announcement timing. Yes, he did. That was not a coincidence, my friend. That was that was well thought out and planned. Yeah, big body shots for Francis Ngannou. Netflix commentary is so cool. Yeah, it's Mauro Ranallo. You know, but Mauro's you hire Mauro to do what he does. You know, that's what Mauro Ranallo does. Not my favorite, but I have heard worse, to be fair. A lot of this fight has been fought against the cage in these sort of 50-50 positions, these tie-ups. Now Lins gets a nice reversal against the cage. Lins is still in this one. Lins throwing a big shot over top. Oh, big shot for Francis. That's it. One shot. That is it. Francis Ngannou. Man, he is still just so powerful. That is it. First round knockout. Francis Ngannou. Let's go. The Predator, Francis Ngannou, proving that he still has the power that he always did. And perfect timing. We got Melquizael Costa walking out right now. So we'll hear what Francis has to say, and then we will turn our attentions to the UFC main event of the evening. Holloway versus Connor 2 is wild. Whitaker versus Krylov is super interesting, and I've been wanting to see Garbrandt versus Yanez for a couple of years. Yeah, this will be a good night. I agree, Joey. It's going to be a good night. I am in no way accusing anyone of anything, but off first watch, no replays. He went down. Sorry, I can't see that there. A bit. Oh, gotcha. He went down a bit soft there. Let's see. I need to see it one more time. But we got to remember, though, Francis is just so freaking powerful. He just has absolute dynamite in his hands. Yeah, Lins looked like he was pretty out of it at the end. What do you guys think? Early thoughts on McGregor? Any chance he can beat Max Holloway? I think that's a tough fight for the notorious one at this point. Connor should be in the blue corner for his return. Honestly, feels right to have Max in the red corner. He never left, and he's always put in the work against the best of the best. Yeah, Joey, I agree with that. Will they do it? That's another thing to be determined. But yeah, I'm interested in this guy that Gable's fighting. I really don't know much about him. I need to do some looking, but I am glad to see Gable Steveson on the schedule finally. All right, Melky Costa entering the cage now, and they're about to announce Francis Ngannou. Before this, before this main event starts, hopefully we'll get to hear what Francis has to say. Yeah, Lins was pretty cooked there, I think. What was it? It was a shot to the temple. It was a hook to the temple. It kind of hit the top of the head, but registered on the temple as well. Yeah, Francis still got that power, man. Boom. Interesting, Heather. That's a tough fight, but I think Connor might take it. Yeah, I think it's a really tough fight for Connor to win, but who knows? I got an 85%. Let's see here. I want to see what all y'all said. Okay. I got Max, though. Elton, yeah. 85% Max, 15 Connor. That's fair. 10% chance he can beat Max. Very fair. Max lights him up after the first round. Yeah. He got to accept, though, Connor has fought at welterweight. Max only just moved up to lightweight. That is a factor because Max is a 145er that's moving up very quickly. That's a tough fight, but I think Connor might take it. Hey, I love it. I love it, Heather. That would be crazy to see. Francis will call out John Jones and ask him to come to MVP. I think that's almost 100%. Yep. And TTV snipes World Allen for the win. I picked Melky Costa, my friend. So I love Arnold Allen. I just think Melky's going to win this one. We'll see. We'll see. What weight do we think the Conor Max fight will be at? I think it's confirmed that it's 170. I think it's confirmed it's 170. All right, Francis is talking now. Francis, a respect to Philippe. He was tougher than I thought. Francis saying we got a hard opponent. We've got a tough guy in here. He said he was going to stay composed and he knew he would have an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, that's what Francis does, right? He looks for those opportunities to land the big power. That's been his whole entire career, and it's served him very well. Francis said, if you don't remember who I am, you must have amnesia. So Ariel asking him, tell him his last MMA fight was in 2024. Should I pull out LMA? Dude, I don't know. I don't want. I am not the guy to ask for that, man. I can break down fights really well. I can like give you interesting angles, but for whatever reason, I'm like 50-50 on my picks. I am not the pick guy. I don't want to be the one that tells you no and then you could have won. Choi versus Pico. Man, Joey, I'm not sure Aaron Pico's ready for that yet. Seriously, I'm not. Choi versus Delgado, that would be good. I mean, Choi versus Pico would be fun, but Choi could knock his ass out too. I really think he could. JL, hey man, I didn't know you were live. Yeah, man, we're live for the Netflix card, and we're also about to watch the main event on the UFC. So, Ariel asking Francis, John Jones in the arena. Ariel asking him if that's who he wants next. John Jones up in the booth with the with Tyron Woodley. Francis saying John's the best in the history of MMA. Francis saying he should watch me and learn, and if he can get out of the contract, come see me. He said Francis saying he doesn't know how to get out of his cage yet. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think the UFC would actually let John Jones out of his contract to go fight Francis? I mean, I don't see how the UFC would be in the business of allowing a massive fight to take place outside of their purview. I really don't, but who knows? Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Heather. Jay, you can still watch the rest of us with it. Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, I've been forgetting to rip these packs, so I've got to rip another pack. Yeah, let Francis make his move. Yeah, I mean, they're in Ariel's earpiece telling him to ask those questions. But yeah, I mean, I think Francis was going to call him out on his own without the help. All right, here we go. All right, so round one, Melky Costa, Arnold Allen. I'm going to call that fight, and hopefully we won't bleed into the Nate Diaz Mike Perry fight. I almost said Jorge Masvidal. Here we go. Touch of the gloves, and we're off. 4 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first round. Melky Costa, Arnold Allen exchanging some low calf kicks to start things off. Beautiful 1-2 from Arnold Allen. This pace is really high so far. Spinning attack from Melky Costa there. Arnold Allen, the aggressor. Melky playing the outside here. Let's see. Body kick by Costa there. Arnold Allen still aggressing. Nice 2 over the top for Costa. Both of these guys look really fast tonight. Really, really fast. Arnold Allen still looking for his entry, looking to get that boxing going. Melky moving pretty well. Oh, Arnold Allen with a knockdown early. 4 minutes left in the round, and Arnold Allen flash knockdowns Melky Costa. Arnold Allen, beautiful takedown in the half guard. Melky Costa doing a good job recovering his guard here. Looking to scramble himself back up to his feet, but that was a beautiful flash knockdown by Arnold Allen there. Really clean, fast boxing for Allen. Costa looking for a reversal, but Allen stayed on him really nice. Arnold Allen may be showing levels here tonight, guys. Arnold Allen looking to drag Melky back down to the ground, working some nice knees there. Nice reversal there by Costa. He's back to his feet, but Arnold Allen's in on his leg again. And a beautiful outside foot trip there for Arnold Allen. Man, Arnold Allen is showing some really high-level grappling tonight, as well as some good electric striking. He's working a guillotine, but he's not in the right position to land it. Costa now on top, looking to break that guillotine grip, and now we have Costa in the half guard, but from the top position this time. Big shots for Melky. Costa on top. Arnold scrambles well. A couple of big punches there, but Arnold Allen moved pretty well. Costa looking to get his hooks in. He's got one in on the inside, and he's got the second one in. Beautiful back take there for Melquizael Costa. That was fantastic. Let's see. Arnold Allen defending the hands so far pretty well, and Allen's back up to his feet. Somebody asked, what round is it? It's the first round. John, it's the first round of the UFC main event. 1 minute and 36 seconds is what I have left. Arnold Allen versus Melky Costa. Beautiful takedown again there for Costa. These guys are really high level. These guys are showing some really high level MMA, top to bottom MMA game, from the grappling, from the electric striking to the cage work. The level of competition now, it's so stark because we're watching Netflix. I don't want to take anything away from Francis, because Francis is still top class, but overall as a whole, like, you just see the level of competition difference when you watch the UFC. Melky Costa sort of hanging out on the back of Allen, but you got to be careful here. He could slip off. Kind of a strange position here. Melky looking to work to the back, but he's sort of in an open guard position, trying to, looks like he's going for like an arm in guillotine, but there's nothing really doing there. I don't really know what he's going for. He probably should just break this and reset a little bit. Arnold Allen in on a guillotine of his own now. All right, we're 7 seconds left in round number 1. And that is it for round 1, Costa versus Allen. So I think I give that round to Allen. Who do you guys take in that one? Allen first round, 10-9 Allen. That's what I'm thinking. Arnold round. Yeah, solid Arnold round for sure. Forgot to put the poll up in the chat for the main event, but better late than never. So we got it now. Yeah, this is elite. Good round. Totally agree, Heather. Could not agree more. This is a really, really good display of mixed martial arts here from both of these gentlemen. All right, round 2. Round 2, Costa versus Arnold Allen. Let me see here. Got that poll up. JL Costa looks like he's gassed. Yeah, let's see. He's going to be in for a long night if 5 rounds against Arnold Allen if he's gassed already. Coming out electric in this round as well. Lots of leg feints from both of these guys, working their hip feints, and I love it. Love to see it. Arnold Allen coming out and immediately establishing that center of the octagon again. Both guys swinging hard here. Both of them just threw a big overhand. Both of them also missed. Arnold Allen still aggressing here, working his angles and sort of trying to pin Costa against the cage, but Costa's a hard guy to pin down, throwing some good strikes, some good jabs, some good body kicks and leg kicks. Costa still hasn't really been able to get much off clean on Arnold Allen just yet. So far, this is Arnold Allen's fight. All right, we got a little scene of Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey back there warming up in the locker room. Beautiful jab there by Arnold Allen. He's really finding a home for that jab. Arnold Allen's straight punches have always served him well, and that's no different tonight. Costa's working a couple of low kicks, but again, so far another round for Allen. Allen just caught a knee of Costa and used it to land a kick of his own. Yeah, Melky has got to figure out a way that he can get it. Oh, beautiful 1-2 by Arnold Allen there. Yeah, Costa's got to find a way that he can start to get his offense off because right now he's fighting Arnold Allen's fight. He's fighting reactively to what Arnold Allen wants. And until Melky starts to fight his fight, this is going to continue to go the way of Arnold Allen until either he wins a decision or eventually gets stopped. But a couple of those shots really pop Melky's head back very well. Again, Arnold Allen just backing Costa up, landing good straight punches, landing some low kicks, getting out of the way of the attacks of Costa. Costa with a nice 1-2 of his own there. At least got Arnold to take a couple of steps back, but Arnold again establishing the center of the octagon almost immediately and putting Melky against the cage. Melky slipped off a big head kick and he's on his back now. Arnold Allen trying to decide whether he wants to follow Costa down there or let him get back to his feet. So far, he's just throwing a few leg kicks with Costa on his back. And again, Arnold Allen is kind of running away with this round and running away with the fight to some degree. Let's see here. Allen's got an answer for everything. Yeah, I totally agree, Elton. Costa looks like an amateur boxer. Yeah, the boxing skill here is very clearly displayed as much better for Arnold Allen. Really good straight punches, really good head movement, his ability to get inside. He's got some good low kicks too. Costa's swinging big and missing a little bit. So Arnold Allen definitely the all-around better fighter so far, definitely winning both rounds. Hercules just joined back, but Francis looks super slow, understandable due to age. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the Francis of old, but he's still got the power. He still proved he has the power. Now, John Jones said that in an interview that I was kind of listening to what he's saying while watching this fight, that he really does believe he's done. He really believes that his career is over. He's fighting, or he's training, rather, sorry, Gable Steveson. And yeah, he's going to be done with his own personal competition. So I'm interested to know, do you guys believe that? Do you think that John Jones would, in fact, come back for a Francis fight if he could get out of his contract? Let me know in the comments. So Nolly, are you and Nick siblings? Yes, in fact, we are, my friends. My friend, we are brothers. We are the Barnhill brothers, and we are actually biological brothers as well. And so is Chris, the most important Barnhill brother that most of you don't know. He's our editor. He pops on from time to time in these lives. Most of you that come here on a regular basis know Chris's face. But yes, we are brothers. Allen has definitely figured out Costa's rhythm. Yeah, no question about it. Arnold Allen's running away with this fight. Melky Costa needs to do something drastically different here if he wants to turn the tables, because this is going heavily in the favor of Arnold Allen right now. What did you guys think? Another 10-9 round for Arnold Allen? Costa looks rough. He's breathing very hard and hasn't really done anything. Yeah, this is not the fight that Melky wanted to have here tonight for sure. All right, starting round 3. Hopefully, this fight will be over with by the time we get to the Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz fight. Yeah, 2-0 Allen's way. Yep. Melky Costa landing some big shots here. Allen coming in, looking to reestablish his dominance. Third round, by the way, if you're locked in with me, 4 minutes, 34 seconds in the third round. Oblique kick there for Costa. Costa looks a little bit better in this round, a little bit more active, a little bit sharper, a little bit more accurate, too. Low kick for Costa. Answered by a low kick of his own for Arnold Allen. Nice head kick by Costa. That one kind of snuck up, but it kind of landed on the glove of Allen. Nothing major. Allen back on that jab. Back in Melky Costa up again. Beautiful boxing there by Arnold Allen. Kick to the body for Melky, but it was blocked by Allen. Arnold Allen looks really good tonight. Beautiful push kick by Arnold Allen. Allen is really establishing his dominance. He's backing Melky Costa against the cage. He's using good reads. He's baiting him into things. He's using great straight punches, good kicks. There's nothing fancy that Arnold Allen's doing. If you think about the last fight with Santos, all that crazy spinning stuff and the wild attacks, Arnold Allen is winning this fight with a jab, a straight, and a low kick, and some good grappling. Melky Costa looking to mount some offense of his own. Okay, Arnold Allen. Overhand landed on the kind of the back of the temple there, Melky Costa. Switch kick for Costa there. Yeah, Melky to me just doesn't seem like he has an answer to anything that Costa's bringing tonight. He's landing some shots here, one off, but Arnold Allen is really, dominating where the fight's taking place. He's dominating the pace it's being fought at, the range it's being fought at. And, something drastic would have to happen here. It looks like Arnold Allen's about to run away with this fight and maybe even get a late finish. Oh, beautiful straight two by Allen. This may be the end here. Costa is just tough as hell. Spinning heel kick for Costa. Arnold saw it from a mile away. Melky in on a single, but defended really well by Arnold Allen, and Allen actually ended up on top, raining some shots down. If I'm Allen, I consider getting back up and making Melky fight on the feet. He was rocking him there. But again, Arnold's had success in the grappling as well in this fight, so it really doesn't matter where the fight takes place. He's proven he can kind of control and dominate Melky from any position. Arnold Allen flattening out Melky Costa, transitioning to the back. Melky Costa is really just kind of turtled up here. No offense whatsoever. Arnold Allen working from a side position. Melky trying to roll out a little bit, but Allen's just following up with everything. Melky's he's a tough guy. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it, Sonali. He's tough, but he's not at the level of Arnold Allen tonight, and we are seeing that very clearly. Beautiful overhand there by Arnold Allen. Beautiful boxing for Allen. Yeah, Arnold Allen is 3 up, 3 down. He is running away with this fight. Yeah, you got to think that's 10-8. I don't know. Is it a 10-8? I think that's a 10-9 round, but it was close. But I think it's 3-10-9s. I think it's 30-27 so far for Arnold Allen. He's really dominating. Arnold Allen won his first 10 UFC fights. How many fighters can say that? Almost none. Literally almost none. Elton 30-27, Allen confidently. Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's any other acceptable scorecard besides that. Potential late finish coming. Maybe. Arnold Allen still looks like he's fresh. He's had a couple of shiners on his face, but certainly the fresher fighter. It's very possible we could see a late finish here. Man, this Netflix lag time in between fights is something else. We're going to see a full 5 round fight before we see the next fight, which is helpful to me. I don't have to go back and forth, but my God, if it was just Netflix tonight, this would be brutal. All right, fourth round, 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the head. Arnold Allen, Melquizael Costa. Costa looking to establish some cage dominance, but once again, Allen is just backing him up with that beautiful jab. Oh, beautiful 1-2 there for Arnold Allen. The boxing is just money tonight for Allen. Hook over the top. Ooh, nice straight two for Melky there. That was a good one. Allen's got to be careful of those. Costa's still got power even in the late rounds here. Beautiful 1-2 for Allen. He is just finding his home with that boxing. Straight punches, man, I tell you. You learn how to time and land a beautiful jab and a beautiful cross, and then you put that together with different cadences and different feints. Man, you can win a lot of fights with just that alone. There is levels to this game, and Arnold Allen is showing it tonight. But he's getting hit more in this round than I would like. Melky's still live in this. It's not likely, but he's still got power. He's tough too, man. Is Costa ever tough? Oh, beautiful straight two for Arnold Allen, followed up by a nice knee. His chin will be cracked before 30. Yeah, for sure. Beautiful takedown by Allen. Look at those striking numbers. Very heavily in favor of Allen. Wow. First and second round, Costa had more significant strikes landed. That's crazy. I don't know how. Yeah, same. I don't know how Costa's still in this. This guy's tough as hell, but he's going to have a cracked chin, that's for sure. All right. So Arnold Allen trying to progress in the open guard of Melquizael Costa right now. Melky looking to get back up to his feet, but Arnold has just got his hands clasped around his back and he's squarely in control here, looking to get that leg over. There we go. Work himself to the half guard. Melky's up, but Allen is in now. Somewhat of a leg entanglement there, but Arnold pulled right out of it. Yeah, Arnold is just showing that whatever it is that Costa wants to bring tonight, he's got an answer for it. Everything. Even the kick catches have been beautiful, just like that. There, he's used them to get it. He timed an absolutely gorgeous outside foot sweep. I think it was in the second round. Beautiful head kick. Both guys actually throwing some nice head kicks here in this round. Who said how good is John? Jay, yeah. John, yeah, he's good. He's really good. He's really good and he's really exciting. I can't wait to see him fight for a belt one day. Because Arnold Allen is damn good. Beautiful 1-2 for Allen. Yeah, Arnold Allen is just sort of landing that 1-2 at will. 10 seconds left in round number 4. Looks like we're going to go into the 5th round, guys. And it looks like the 5th round will be over before we even see the Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry fight. Yeah, Joey, this is a great point, man. Look at how important an educated boxing game is in MMA. Ewing, Choi, Allen, Van, Ilya, Pico, they're all perfect examples of this. Yes, you have boxing alone will not get you far in MMA. You have to have the other skills, otherwise people will exploit you. You have to know how to check kicks. You have to know how to block kicks intelligently and stuff like that. And of course, you have to know how to grapple, and you have to understand how to defend takedowns. And then, as we saw with Sean Strickland this past weekend, get back up once you are taken down. But when you can do those things effectively and you have good boxing, that's where the real high level guys are. That's right. And you see all the guys that are super high level right now: Strickland, Ilya, as you just named it, Choi, Joshua Van. You named multiple champions in that. So all great examples of how really clean boxing can take you a long way when you have the other skills. Very, very good point. All right. It looks like we're about to have Nate Diaz and Mike Perry walk out. 41 years old, 34 only for Mike Perry. I thought Mike was older than that. He's been around the block for a while. All right, 5th round. Predictions markets giving Allen a 95% chance to win this one. Costa would have to do something pretty tremendous. He's swinging. I expect Costa to come out really aggressive in this one because he knows he needs a finish here and he does not want to lose momentum. And he's coming out swinging hard. He's coming out swinging really hard. Nice straight there for Costa. He's trying to win it. God bless the man. He's doing his best to try to win this fight. But Arnold Allen can kind of just, well, he's clipping him. He's clipping him. 101 significant strikes landed for Arnold Allen. Nice 1-2 for Allen. Yeah, Allen, if I'm Allen in this round, I'm looking to get some control on the ground because Melky's coming out swinging for the fences, and a few of those shots actually landed. So beautiful takedown for Allen there. Costa looking to cage walk a little bit. Nice shots up the middle there by Arnold Allen. Trying to drag Melky back down to the mat. Beautiful takedown there again by Arnold Allen. 3 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in this fight, and Arnold Allen is fully in control. Right as Mike Perry's about to walk out. So this is going to be perfect timing, guys. A clean 100%, 5 out of 5 takedowns for Arnold Allen tonight. Very impressive. All right, 2 minutes, 52 seconds. Allen still on the back. Melky trying to climb his way to the cage and get himself back up. And he is up to his feet. Let's see if he can create some separation here and make this interesting in the last 2.5 minutes. For those of you watching Netflix and this, Mike Perry is walking out right now. All right. Allen on another takedown, 2 minutes to go. Allen's got one leg isolated. He's working a cross face, landing a little bit of ground and pound. Let's see how this thing ends. Melky desperately needs to get a sweep here and get back to his feet. Arnold Allen on top again. Melky working that butterfly guard, trying to get a sweep, but Allen just hasn't, like we said all night, he's got an answer for everything that Melky's doing, including his sweep attempts from the bottom. Arnold Allen looks superb tonight. This is exactly what he needed. You know, he had a long layoff, and then he came back after, I think it was 18 months, and he lost. He was, I think, just to believe in himself, Allen needed a performance like this tonight. He looks really, really good. 50-44, yeah, complete washout. Old guard stays strong. Let's go. Yeah, the old guard is fully intact here tonight. Melky Costa's good, but he's not that good yet. He's not elite yet. Let's just put it that way. Arnold Allen has shown the levels here tonight. Beautiful. Arnold Allen's going to basically control Melky from the back. He's going to probably try to look for a rear naked choke here just to see if he can get a finish in the end. But ultimately, this is a clean sweep for Arnold Allen, and maybe even one of those rounds. What is a 10-8? But for sure, at minimum, 50-45. The division is wide open when Volk leaves. I agree. Allen does seem like he was well prepared. Yeah, totally agree. He needed this, Heather. He was, like I said, a year and a half off, and then comes back and loses. And he was one of those guys we were talking about for a title not that long ago, being a real contender. And this kind of puts him right back in the mix. Absolutely beautiful, vicious ground and pound to finish the fight for Arnold Allen. Man, that was close to being stopped. Had there been 15, 20 more seconds, that may have been stopped. That was a beautiful ending sequence there for Arnold Allen. He had the the leg of Costa locked down, and he was throwing big shots over the top. Horrible performance by Costa. Yeah, I mean, Allen just looked really good. He had no answer for him. Where's Yair? Yeah, let's go, Yair. Maybe Yair Rodriguez versus Arnold Allen. I would be afraid to be Costa's next opponent. Arnold took him to school tonight, but Costa doesn't give up on himself. Totally agree. And hey, real quick before we move into the next Netflix fight, let's rip this next pack. All right, so I've been kind of slacking with this, but we got Alexia Thanara. Nothing to blow your hair back. I like this one, even though it's just a base card. But it's my man, Derek Lewis, the knockout king, the Black Beast himself. So when we see Derek next time, maybe he'll be generous enough to sign this one for us. And we have Jacqueline Amorim. Mark Choniski. Some interesting ones on here tonight, guys. I'll be honest with you. And we've got, you know him, you like him. He was a former champion, maybe will be one day again at 205, Magomed Ankalaev. That's Anthony Lionheart Smith there that he's fighting. Oh, this is cool. Markel Medeiros. This one's a numbered card. It's 150 out of 150. So they only made 150 of these. So this is probably the most valuable one that I've pulled so far. I'll put that here. I'm going to put that in a case, as Chris requested that I do later on. We've got Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And this is a Youthquake card. Okay. Interesting. I'll have to ask Chris if those are special or not. And this is kind of cool. I've not seen one like this before, but it's like a blacked out. Whoops. It's like a blacked out Brian Ortega. That's kind of interesting. I've never seen one like that where it's like blacked out. So I don't know if that's worth anything or not, but we shall see. The coolest one I've gotten so far, I think, is this this Markel Medeiros, because it's a numbered card. It's 150 out of 150. Somebody said, Joey, pull a Charizard. Man, that would be sick, wouldn't it? Maybe that. I was just looking at Jake Paul. What's the one Logan had? The Illustrator Charizard, the $15 million card. Black Ortega is rare. Okay, cool. Black Ortega is going in a case then. Cool blackout card. Thank you. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, we pulled the autograph Josh Van by far is still the best one that we've pulled to date, because it was literally happened after Josh got the knockout of Tatsuro Taira, which is super cool. We could have pulled it any other time. We pulled an autograph Josh Van immediately after he defended the belt. So let's put this Markel Medeiros numbered card. 150 out of 150. So we actually got the final one. That's pretty cool too. All right. There we go. Sleeved them up. Those will be delivered to Chris's house later. The Black Ortega is rare. I forgot Ankalaev existed. Yeah, maybe he'll be the champ again. Who knows? Hokit gonna hurt Lewis. Possible. Let's see what happens. Derek's always got a puncher's chance, but Arnold Allen looking really good tonight. And we've got Nate Diaz now versus Mike Perry. So we're going to call this fight, and then we are going to rip another pack, and then we are going to call Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. Let's see how this goes. Here we go. Mike Perry with the mohawk tonight, the gelled mohawk. I got Perry at -130. Let's go. Let's go, Jay. All right, let me pop a poll in this one. Who wins the co-main? I'm just calling. I know they say a triple main event, but I'm calling it a co-main. Perry, Diaz. Let's roll. Get your votes in, guys. Sorry that one took a little long to get up. Mike Perry looking to get Nate out of there right away. Perry swinging for the fences. This is wild from the get-go. Diaz looking to establish a jab here. Beautiful jab by Nate Diaz. But Mike Perry definitely the aggressor so far. Nice elbow by Mike Perry inside. 4 minutes and 21 seconds left on the first round. If you want to follow where I am, Nate Diaz in a little bit of trouble. Beautiful outside leg trip by Nate Diaz. Had Perry in sort of a scarf hold position there, but Perry ducked out of it really well. Mike Perry looking to establish some top position here. Diaz fighting off his back. If I'm Perry, I may just let him get up. Nate Perry's having some success on the feet. Uh-oh, Nate Diaz looks like he might be in on a heel hook here. Let's see if Nate can do anything with this leg entanglement. We have the knee of Mike Perry out already. Mike needs to get up here. He doesn't need to be playing around on the ground with Nate. Yeah, good call by Mike Perry there to force Nate to stand back up, because that's where his fight is won here. Mike Perry just sort of walking forward, trying to work some boxing. Nate Diaz trying to establish that jab. He's landed a couple of good ones on Mike Perry so far. Mike is. We talked about this in the Wellmaker fight as well. The front foot battle where they're in an opposite stance. Mike Perry is sort of winning that front foot battle with his foot on the outside. He's able to land the power, but Diaz is landing a little bit of a jab. Beautiful body shot there by Mike Perry, followed up by a knee. That hurt Diaz. That hurt Nate there. Yeah, Diaz is Mauro Ranallo just called it. Diaz showing early signs of fatigue. He physically looked good, optically, but it doesn't look like he's got the gas that we may have thought he did going into this fight. Big hook for Mike Perry. Another body shot from Mike Perry. Diaz is hurt here. Mike Perry, the heavy aggressor. The mohawked Mike Perry. Mike Perry framing the face of Nate Diaz. Diaz working that jab. Diaz trying to establish some striking with the jab, but he needs to follow it up with something, because Perry's just kind of, there's not a whole lot on those jabs, and Perry's just taking them for for what they are. They're not really damaging him, and he's walking through them and throwing some big shots. Mike Perry looking to come inside, switching stances there temporarily. Hook over the top for Mike Perry. We do have some blood on the eyebrow of Nate Diaz now. Hook to a straight for Nate Diaz there. Nate's starting to come on a little bit more here at the end of round number one with some boxing. Nate finding his range here a little bit. Beautiful 1-2 for Nate Diaz. Body shot for Nate Diaz. Perry wearing it well, though. Perry's so tough. He's not going away easy. Body kick for Mike Perry. Beautiful straight 2 for Mike Perry there. Diaz up against the cage, looking to reestablish some boxing. But so far, I give this round to Mike Perry. Diaz did have that interesting leg entanglement where he was threatening a heel hook, and he's landed some good boxing here in the later stretch of the first round. But thus far, I'm giving the first round to Mike Perry. Let's see here. 19 seconds left in the round. Diaz against the cage, trying to work some grappling, but Perry reverses it well. Nice elbows from Mike Perry. And it looks like we're going to end the first round with a couple of boxing flurries from Nate and Mike. Let's see. Let's jump into some of these comments. Perry is done. Let's go, Nate. I don't know. Perry's looking pretty good. Very good night of fights. Yeah, I agree, Joey. I'm having a good time here tonight. I hope you all too are too. Elton, you pull any crazy champ cards? No, not tonight. Were you here when we pulled the Josh Van card, like immediately after Josh became the champion? Or not, after he defended his belt? Literally the next pack we pulled had a signed Josh Van in it, which was super cool. Super, super cool. Very rare card. I'm thinking about sending it off to get graded. I haven't decided yet. We believe in Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis will KO Hokett. We will hug Trump, and we will be calling Alex Pereira out. Okay. That would Derek Lewis. I mean, I'm a fan of Derek, so I would love to see that. Let's see. I got Perry. I love the black canvas. Feels underground and gritty. Yeah, I'm not mad at the black canvas either. It's grown on me a little bit. ANHV1VM, talk more, please. Silence doesn't tell us anything. So I'm trying to balance out, the amount of talking that I'm doing to give the play-by-play, but not to overspeak, and also to answer you guys in the chat. Love your feedback there. I appreciate that. If I am not talking enough, I'll try to give a little bit more clear, concise this round. So round 2 starting now, 4 minutes and 52 seconds left in the round. Nate Diaz looking to establish that jab again. Mike Perry aggressing and coming straight across the cage. Diaz landing a couple of nice hooks over the top. Some nice shots from Mike Perry there. Perry again backing Diaz up, but Diaz still live with the boxing. He's still landing that jab. He's still landing those hooks over the top. Diaz is just always so game, man. We got a little bit of blood on the face of both gentlemen here. Good fight so far. Nobody's landing real cleanly right now. Mike Perry, I think the best shot of the fight so far was that body shot that Mike Perry landed in the first round. That very visibly hurt Nate Diaz. Nate trying to circle away from that power of Mike Perry. Perry commanding the center of the octagon for sure, but Nate is starting to establish his boxing here. He's starting to find his range and find his timing with Mike. And Nate is the cleaner boxer. Mike is the more of the walk forward, just go crazy, throw big shots. And Nate is a more finessed boxer than Mike. But a couple of big uppercuts from Mike Perry there. Looked like one of those got the attention of Nate Diaz. Big elbow by Mike. Inside boxing from Mike Perry. This is some good stuff, man. This is a good scrap. Body shot from Mike Perry. Mike Perry framing the face of Nate Diaz, looking like he's trying to throw a knee up there. Both of these guys bloodied up so far. This is a great scrap. Nate Diaz in typical scar tissue, chewed up face. Big wide open mouth for Nate Diaz as he's up against the cage. He might be getting a little tired here. Perry seems to be still well conditioned. Mike Perry framing the face of Diaz, working his way towards the back. Not sure what that was. Up kick from the back position. Yeah, Nate Diaz is bloodied up. He's got a lot of blood in his eyes, and this is California, remember, so look for the commission to come in and take a look at Nate's face at the end of this round. Nate backing up again. Mike Perry. Mike is doing a great job of getting Nate backed up against the cage, but not really doing a whole lot as far as unloading. Because, I mean, he is definitely winning this fight, but Nate is definitely landing some good boxing as well in the interim. Big knee to the face by Mike Perry. Big knee to the face. Nate Diaz working an armbar there, nothing doing. Mike Perry with some serious ground and pound here. Beautiful ground and pound by Mike Perry. Great aggression for Perry tonight. Still trying to pass the legs of Nate Diaz, but all right. Beltran making Diaz get back to his feet here. Man, Nate Diaz is bloodied up. Look at that. Look for the doctors to take a long, hard look at Diaz after this round. Wow, look at that. Oh, beautiful body shot by Mike Perry. Absolutely beautiful body shot. This is a wild fight. Nate is just an absolute warrior. Mike Perry with a hook. Nate Diaz just straight up grabbing the cage and kicking, and Beltran doing nothing about it. Wow, this is a war. Perry walking Diaz down. Diaz kind of moving around, not engaging, sort of engaging a little bit with boxing here and there, but he's not doing much. Mike Perry walking him down the last 7 seconds. Mike needs to go to the body again. He's having a lot. Oh, beautiful knee by Mike Perry. Knocks Nate Diaz down with that knee. And that is the end of the second round. look for the doctors to come and really take a look here at Diaz. Let's see here. Elton, no way. That's insane. I wish I was there. Yeah, man, that was super cool. I actually want to find that clip and clip it because it was literally after Josh won the belt. Like less than 5 minutes later, we ripped an autographed Josh fan. It's super cool. We need to clip that and post it. That would be super cool. Rajesh, in my opinion, Conor would KO them both. That is very possible. But the UFC is never letting Conor out of his contract to go fight anywhere else. Conor versus Max is going to be madness. Totally. Is Diaz made out of paper? Dude, Diaz is just so chewed up with scar tissue that he just like, yeah, they're calling it, I think. That's it. Yeah. Stitch. Yeah. So Stitch called the fight. Yeah. Nate just has no ability to take damage because of the scar tissue. He's just chewed up. Yeah. Embarrassing performance by Diaz. Yeah. He didn't do much, but damn, is he tough. Nate Diaz is as tough of a person as a human can be. Yeah, he is. Clip it, post it, DM it to Vance so he can sign it and say it's where it is a van, so it's already signed. So I don't even know, like, would that, like, if we did something to it, like, and had him sign it again, would that make it worth less or more? Because I know card collectors are super picky about that kind of stuff. So it would be interesting to know. This, I'm just looking at him. This blacked out Brian Ortega is pretty cool. Those of you guys that know about cards, I really don't. I'm getting into it now because Chris, our youngest brother, who's the editor, is like super into it, and he's getting me into it big time. Nick's still not sold on it, but we'll get him there. This one's cool. 150 out of 150. I like the fact that it's the very, like, either number 1 or number 150 is cool to me. I don't know if that makes a difference, but this is actually 150. Let's rip another one. What do you say? While we wait, they're probably going to make us wait another 2.5 hours between now and when Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano fight, so we might as well see what we got here. You guys all know this guy. You know him, and you probably love him as much as I do. Mr. Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whitaker. Just a base card, nothing crazy there. All right. Another guy that you know, and you better love him. He's fantastic. Mr. Pyotr Yan, the current bantamweight champion, beat Mr. Merab Dvalishvili. Cool card there. Another base card, I believe. Somebody mentioned Yair Rodriguez earlier. So we got a Yair Rodriguez. I think there's that. Yeah, Pitbull. That's Yair landing a head kick on Patricio Pitbull there. Another base card. Irene Aldana. There we go. Former title challenger, Irene Aldana. Base card. Yeah, that Yan card is sweet. Yeah, I like the Yan card. That's cool. Ramzan Timirov. All right, let's see. Mingyang Zhang. Here we go. So far, this pack not as good as the last. We did get a 150 out of 150 and that blacked out Ortega, which is pretty cool. So all action, Ismin Luciando. So tell me, do you guys know these all action ones? Are they like more rare, more valuable? Are they like not a base card? Should I put this in a case? I don't really know. I'm going to put it here just in case. And then Karine Silva. So last pack, I think overall better. We're saving all of these. We're saving, each and every card just in case we come across these fighters. We may get them to, sign them at some point in time. But yeah. As long as Netflix are paying these guys good money, I hope they can keep this good going. The more places for a fighter to get paid, the better. I agree. I think that this is a good opportunity for other fighters. And this is what, Ronda said, if I'm a young fighter, don't sign with the UFC. Don't fall for the trap. And that's all fine and good. And I respect Ronda for saying that. Excuse me. And she's trying her, to build some hype and some competition for something outside of the UFC. But my biggest question to Ronda is, when's the next event? We need to know when the next event is, because if this is a one-off for sort of retired fighters to make money, and that's the way you want to present this, like, hey, the big names of the past are going to get a chance to make money, that's great. But if we're saying to young fighters, don't go the path of the UFC because we're going to create something better, then you need to make good on that promise, because young fighters will listen to you. And, if we don't have another card lined up, if we don't know, is Netflix going to allow 15, 20, 40 fights per year? Is MVP going to put on that many fights? What's the structure going to look like? If there is a clear path forward, I'm all for it. But if this is going to be just one-offs every so often, I think it's bad advice to give these young fighters to say, don't sign with the UFC because we're going to create you something better, because activity at the end of the day is what you need, especially if you're a young fighter. So I don't know if you guys agree, but I think that's kind of what they need to do. Rhonda's saying that Mick Maynard is a sleazy con man who preys on the desperate people for money. See, I know Mick from the gym, and Mick has never been anything but nice to me, but I've also never dealt with Mick in a negotiation. So I don't know, um, what Mick is like behind closed doors of a UFC negotiation. So, but my interactions with Mick have always been very, very positive. So Mike Perry saying Conor McGregor can put up or shut up, but he wants to MMA Jake against Jake Paul. Jake Paul saying he'll MMA this MFer. Mike Perry calling out Jake Paul for an MMA fight. Jake saying he beat his ass in boxing. Mike saying you got me, but I think I can get you an MMA. Jake, one thing about Jake tonight that I've been kind of impressed with is that, he's being asked, like, do you want to fight Francis? Do you want to box? And Jake's saying, look, this is these guys' nights. Like, if you want to do it, we can talk about it later. Have your time, have your moment, have your night on the microphone. Jake's a huge star, right? A lot of people know who Jake Paul is, but he's really kind of taking the fight promoter role tonight. He's not in there trying to promote his own fights. He's not in there trying to, get a face off with somebody. He's sort of acting as your quote unquote Dana White, and, letting the fighters have their shine, saying, hey, you want to call me out? That's fine. We can talk about it, but get your time on the mic. And I kind of like that out of Jake tonight. I got to be honest. Joke Paul Disney boy. Yeah, I mean, but he'll fight. But Jake's game, Jake will do it. Jake will step in there and fight. By the way, we just passed 17,400 followers, subscribers rather, on YouTube. So I'm not sure who that was that hit the subscribe button that crossed us over to 17.4, but thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And yeah, thank you guys all for joining this live chat and making this channel great. Yeah, Jay, I hear what you're saying. We should be. Why should Jake is 30? I'd hope he'd be professional. Yeah, but like, what I'm saying is, and you're right. I'm not saying that you're off here, but essentially, they're trying to bring out of him the call out, the face off, and I think he's doing a decent job as a first time promoter. I think the production's good. I think the fights have been not bad. It's been a mix of talent with old names and such. So yeah, I mean, Jake still has a long way to go to prove himself, but I think this is not a bad first start, is effectively what I'm saying. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. Nate Diaz saying he's going to fight Jake Paul and he's going to fight Ariel Helwani. Yeah. Yeah, Nate saying he agrees with the stoppage. He had blood in his eyes. He couldn't see. And he said he knew Mike was tough. It was a good scrap. So, yeah, all respect from Nate Diaz. I mean, those two guys respect each other. Those two guys are kind of cut from the same cloth, aren't they? Mike Mike Perry saying he'd be happy to give him another chance. I don't think we need to see that again. You know, it's CTE fest. Yeah, that's kind of what we're witnessing here right now. All right, let's go. Let's get Ronda versus Gina cracking here. I hope we don't have another 25 to 30-minute delay between. All right. First fight of the main card to make it out of the first round. So it's been all finishes so far. All right, let's put up a new poll. We have come to the main event, guys. We have come to the main event. So let's see. Who wins the main of Netflix? Who wins the main event, Gina or Ronda? Let's go. All right, Ronda fight going to be in 35 minutes, probably. LOL. Yeah. If you guys need to take a bathroom break, now would be the time. You probably have plenty of time. JL says, man, Gina looks great. Yeah. Yeah, she looks to be in good shape. And I mean, credit to Gina. She lost 100 pounds. That's amazing. Like, my concern, though, is her whole fight camp was just losing weight. You know, if she lost 100 pounds in a year, how much of it was like really a dialed in fight camp and how much of it was like kind of just losing weight. So that would be my question here for Ronda. But I think we should probably rip another pack while we're waiting. So we bought this Topps Chrome 2026 hobby box. So that's so far we've been pretty satisfied with what we've been getting from Topps. Like I said, the Josh Van auto was probably the coolest one that we've gotten to date. Oh, here's a cool one. You know him and you love him, and you might see him fighting for a belt here sooner rather than later, Mr. Michael Morales. All right. I know you all love her. She likes to give us a nice little dance after she wins, Mrs. Luana Santos. Tough times for this gentleman. Really high level jiu-jitsu player, just cannot put it together in MMA in any way, shape, or form. Mr. Marcus Buchecha. So far, all base cards from what I can see. And we got Felipe Lima. Great card. Morales card, future 100. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put Morales over here with the good pile. Good call there, Elton. I grow fighting. Let's go. Welcome to the chat, my friend. Thank you for being here. Oops. Verna Janjidoba. We like Verna. Oh, this looks pretty cool. What is this one here? Hey, look at that. Nick will like this one. Nick actually got a chance to meet him in person in Las Vegas. We got an autograph Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. So welterweight UFC auto top certified autograph and original Jeff Neal. Very cool. I'll show you the back there too. There we go. Auto Jeff Neal. That's going in a sleeve. If I could figure out where the heck I put them. Let's go, Jeff. I'm a big fan of Jeff. Like, he lives right up the road in Dallas, and he's been a supporter of the channel. Like, he's commented on a few of our videos and never been anything but nice. And, you know, when we've seen him in person, he's been super friendly. So super happy to have that. Chris gave me one of these. He said if I get an autograph to put it in the sleeve and then put it in this hard case. So that is exactly what I'm going to do here. There we have it. We have boxed it up, sleeved it up, the autograph Jeff Neal. And the last couple here, we've got flyweight Macy Barber. And we've got Talita Alankar. There we go. And we see the warm-ups happening back here. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. Let's check the polls. So we got 7 votes in, 71% for Ronda, 29% for Gina. So most of you think Ronda's going to win. Some of you think Gina's going to win. They're running a promo for this fight right now. Let's check it out. Gina Carano, the trailblazer of women's MMA. Ronda Rousey, the woman that made it mainstream. This is a real legends fight here. I mean, let's be honest, these ladies are both unfortunately very past their primes, and it would have been great to see this fight in their primes, but we're seeing it when we see it, and we're grateful for it. But you can't discount what either of these women did in their careers, right? Gina Carano didn't have nearly as long. I mean, Ronda didn't have the longest career either, but I think she had about double the fights of Gina, if memory serves me. But the reality of it is, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano kind of laid the foundation, and Ronda Rousey made women's MMA mainstream. She brought it to the biggest organization in the sport. There wouldn't have been women's MMA in the UFC at the time it was in the UFC if it wasn't for Ronda. And, so she's to be thanked for that. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I mean, I think if I'm being real, I don't see a world where Ronda doesn't armbar her. I think the judo still looks really solid. I think she's in pretty good shape still. She's still got the grappling ability. Gina had the striking, but again, she only had, I think, 3 knockouts and 7 victories. And Ronda Rousey, she's been knocked out before, but if you think about it, was Holly Holm head kicking her, Amanda Nunes, knocking her out with clean boxing. So I don't think that Gina's going to hit her with that same level of intensity. And so I think Rousey's not going to be at risk of getting knocked out. And I think once she's able to get her hands on Gina, then it's going to be kind of a problem with the grappling and the arm bars and stuff like that. Who do you think wins? Yeah. So aggro fighting, I think, basically just gave the prediction there. But I think that Ronda Rousey gets an armbar. I think she's going to submit Gina in the first round. I think that's going to be what happens here. Plot twist: Ronda takes a dive. I just don't see it in her. I don't think that'll happen. What do you guys think? Let me know. We got 80 Ronda, 20 Gina. We got Kat Zingano talking about her time in the cage with Ronda. So let's see, where's the chat now? 82% Ronda, 18% Gina. Let's go. How do you guys, for those of you that think Gina's going to win, are we thinking decision? Are we think this is going all 5 rounds? Are we thinking knockout? What are we thinking? Looks like this may take more than a minute too. So why don't we rip another pack here while we're waiting and listen to what Kat Zingano has to say. I feel like I was slacking tonight on ripping the pack, so I owe you guys a couple more. All right, so heavyweight guy, he's got a fight coming up soon. You love him, Sergey Pavlovich. Yeah, I don't care. 95. I might turn this SHYT off. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not great to have this lag time in between fights, but I've been around, what is it, 3 hours and 14 minutes? I've been live now, so I'm sticking around till the end. Clayton Carpenter. Nice kick getting landed there by Clayton Carpenter. Umar Sy. And you guys know this guy. He's probably going to be fighting for a belt soon, maybe on UFC 330. Mr. Ian Machado Gary landed a nice kick there. Andre Lima. That's a good one. And I got a another numbered card. I got Zhang Wei Li. I've got number 23 out of 399 for Zhang Wei Li, the champion. Zhang Wei Li. This is when she's getting her hand raised. I don't know what fight this is offhand, but Zhang Wei Li getting her hand raised. We're going to sleeve this one up. Billy Down, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, man. Another great card. Yeah, Elton, I've gotten some pretty good ones tonight. Some numbered cards and some things of that nature. So I'm pretty happy with them. I'm learning more and more about these. I'm getting more into them, but yeah, they're fun. They're fun to pull. All right, I've got an all-action Taliesin Teixeira. That's kind of cool, kind of reflective looking. And then I've got a Sean Brady landing a kick on Leon Edwards. That's pretty cool too. Heather, we appreciate you taking the time to do this. Thank you. What else would I do on a Saturday night other than hang out with you guys, you know? My son's in bed now. He's been in bed for a few hours. We hung out today. And you know, I have a 3-year-old and spent some time with the wife and the kid. And, you know, I have a high suspicion that my wife is probably downstairs watching Netflix. And so when this wraps up, I'll go hang out with her for an hour and a half or so and call it a night and wake up tomorrow and go meet up with Nick and Chris and try to record a recap video for you guys. Here and now, now and now and now and now. Love the name, my friend. Hey, chat. I was watching hockey. Who won? Francis. Francis won first round knockout. How about Diaz and Mike? Mike Perry. After the second round, the doctor stopped the fight. So Mike Perry won and Francis won first round knockout. Elton. Oh no, they got CM Punk there. LOL. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. First round knockout for Francis and doctor stoppage. Mike Perry won going into the third round. James Cameron on the screen. David Spade. They got Hollywood out tonight. Oh my God. Look at Tommy Lee. As rock and roll as they come indeed. Tommy Lee. Haven't seen him in years. We got Michael Irving in the house. Minutes away, they're saying. Minutes away. We're going to watch this main event and then we are going to rip one more pack. I said I was going to rip 6 tonight. I've got 6 left. So I'm sorry, 7 left. That means I got to rip one more and then we will save the other 6 for our next live stream. So get ready for that. That'll probably be not next weekend because it's Memorial Day weekend, but the weekend after next, we're going to rip the other 6 packs. This is the most Temu UFC event. Joey, I know that Ronda was such a sore loser back in the day, but the UFC completely mishandled her career by giving her Nunes right after Holly Holm. They could have built her back up. Yeah, I mean, that was just, and then it was just like, yeah, we're done after that. I'm pumped for Connor's return July 11th. Me too, man. You think he can beat Max Holloway? I think that's a really tough fight, but I'm excited for it. I'm stoked about this Jeff Neal autograph. That's my favorite one so far. The Zhang Wei Li numbered is pretty cool. The Michael Morales, these all actions. I don't know if the all actions are really anything special or not, but they're cool. And then the 150 out of 150 for Markel Maderos, that one's cool. And then the blacked out Brian T City Ortega, I like that one as well. Don't know if they're worth anything necessarily, but they look super cool. Oh, right. Looks like we're still got a few more minutes until this thing gets announced. 80-20 in the chat so far. What did you guys think about Melquizael Costa and Arnold Allen? I picked Melky to win. I thought we were going to see another level out of Costa and show that he was really elite. Arnold Allen proved that the old guard is still intact. And man, Arnold really needed that win. He really, really needed that win. I think that he was, 18-month layoff and then he came back and lost. Um, Also shows how good John Silva is. John Silva's a real, real threat. I know he had a setback and he was kind of on the fast track for that title shot, but I think he very much is back in, on track for that title shot here soon. I think after Movsar fights Volkanovski, he'll probably get the winner of that. He may not have to do anything in the interim. But what did y'all think of Arnold Allen tonight? I was very impressed. Man, they really put a lot of lag time in between these fights on Netflix, don't they? Looks like the new Avengers movie is getting an ad read here. All right, looks like the poll is going to wrap up at 80-20 for Gina Ronda. Oh, I just realized that my computer auto corrected and it says Ronde. Meant to put Ronda there. I assume all of you knew what I meant. All right, here we go. Main event time. And it all worked out pretty well tonight, guys. We were able to. Let me see here. Something's going on with my comments here. Yeah, we were able to watch all of the fights on the UFC card without interruption because of the scheduling. And then we were able to see all of the fights on this card. Um, Largely thanks to Robelis Despaigne. He was the one that got JDS out of there in the first round. But that was he allowed us to jump over and see Malcolm Wellmaker, and then everything else was kind of one and one after that. So we were able to call and catch every fight on both main cards, which is great. All right, so we have the tail of the tape now. Rousey Gym Syndicate MMA working with John Wood. KOs 3 for Ronda to 9 subs, 3 KOs for Gina to 1 sub. Meditude Ronda all day. Ronde all day. Let's go, Ronde. Let's see. Still doing the promo build up here. This is Gina Carano talking, saying that Ronda's been chasing her for a long time. She said, every time I think about this fight, I'm beating her ass in my head. Love the confidence. Love the confidence out of Gina. Let's see if she can do it. Here she is. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Gina Carano is about to make her walk 16 years after the last time she made the walk. Gina Carano now officially making her cage walk. I missed Dos Santos. Did he get slimed out? Santos came out super strong, dude. He was throwing heavy, spinning heel kicks, big body attacks, big punches. Ho Choi showed a tremendous chin. He also showed tremendous discipline. He weathered the storm. He waited until Santos got tired, and then he ate him up with clean boxing and good low leg kicks. The finishing sequence was, I believe, a double 1-2 and then a liver shot. So it was a liver shot that folded him. So it was three clean punches to the face, a double jab cross, and then a boom, beautiful liver shot that absolutely put Santos out or slimed him out, as you said. I love that word. I'm using that word more often now. Slimed him out. I like it. I don't know where that came from, but everybody's saying that now. I like slimed him out. Gina Carano walking out to the Killers. Mr. Brightside. Great song. Interesting walkout song choice. We got John Wood in the corner. She's got a legendary corner. I mean, John Wood's a great coach, but is this going to be enough? Here we go. Ronda build up now. Let's see. We're about to see a Ronda Rousey walkout. God, what was Ronda's walkout song? I can hear the melody in my head now. I can't think of the name of the song. Meditude Junior Dos Santos. Yes, he also got slimed out. But yeah, Duho Choi looked great too. But yes, JDS was knocked out in the first round by Robelis Despaigne. Um, Robelis just hands down the whole time, throwing big shots, and eventually Junior looked like he was gonna, maybe do something, work some low leg attacks, was working his way in, trying to get some boxing, but in the end, Despaigne was just way too powerful, way too much firepower for the 42-year-old JDS, and he was knocked out. All right, here comes Rowdy Ronda Rousey. Hoodie on, like always. Joan Jett, bad reputation. Yeah. Ronda looks like her and Gina have been friends the whole time. They've been buddy, and I don't think it's going to be any of that inside the cage. Ronda, one thing about Ronda, man, she's a competitor. She is a competitor of the highest level. She does not. I would not be surprised if Ronda goes in there and tries to end this thing in 30 seconds. Yep. Yeah, Ronda's saying she's fighting for reasons within. She's not interested in money or fame. Obviously, we know that she's getting paid and a fortune to do this fight, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, Ronda Rousey officially making her MMA return. What is it? Almost a decade later, and Gina Carano now 16 years removed from her last fight, and uh, 18 years removed from her last win. Ronda Rousey, the woman that brought women's MMA to the UFC. It probably would have made it over in fairness by now, but she was the one that brought it over when it came over. And she deserves a lot of credit for being a trailblazer. Both these ladies do. Interesting to see how this goes, man. I really don't see how Gina can win this fight. As much as I'd love to see this be competitive, I find it very hard to imagine any scenario where Ronda doesn't take her down and submit her. Here we go. Main event. 11:01 Central Time. So 3 hours after the main card started, we are getting our main event announcements. Last chance to drop in the chat who you think is going to win. We got 17 votes so far. 24 for Gina, 24% for Gina, 76% for Ronda Rousey. Thank you guys who have shown up tonight. I appreciate everybody who's come by. We've had several thousand, I think, pass through in total across all platforms, hanging out at about 30 to 40 at any one given time. Appreciate you all being here tonight. And yeah, we're going to call this last fight. We're going to rip one more of these tops packs, and then we are going to call it a night, ladies and gentlemen. We already got a cool signature for those of you that just came in. We got a Jeff Neal on card autograph, which is pretty cool. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Announcing Gina Carano right now. $141.4 for Gina Carano, 7-1-0, 3 KOs, 1 sub. Of course, we know that one loss came at the hands of Chris Cyborg. The first woman to headline a major MMA promotion. The original face of women's MMA, Mrs. Gina Carano. There we go. All right, now introducing Ronda Rousey. Looks like this poll is going to end with about 80% of you thinking that Ronda is going to win this thing. I am in agreement with the majority of you as well. Let's go. 8 wins coming in less than 1 minute for Ronda Rousey. Let's go. 12-2. Again, those 2 losses coming at the hands of the women's GOAT, Amanda Nunes, and one of the best kickboxers, probably the best kickboxer to ever grace the octagon in Holly Holm. Be interesting to see if they try to make Holly Holm versus Ronda too if Ronda wins this one. She says she's not coming back, but I feel like she'd come back to try to get back on Holly Holm. I really do. All right, here we go. All right, guys, the main event is main event of the evening is upon us. Ronda looking like Greta Thunberg. Dude, you have come through with some zingers tonight. All right, here we go. Main event starting. If you want to lock in with me, I will tell you as soon as the round starts. There we go. Round started. 5 minutes left in the first round. Ronda immediately with the takedown. Gina Carano tried to do a 1-2 out of the gate. Ronda immediately changed levels and got a double leg takedown. She is now in mount. Pounding on Gina Carano's face. Armbar, and it's finished. It's over. 4 minutes and 44 seconds into the first round. Ronda Rousey armbar. I called it. I got called out in the comments. I was told, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Gina Carano is absolutely the best striker Ronda Rousey will ever face. Ronda has nothing for Gina on the feet. This is going to be way harder than you think. I was called every name in the book. My prediction was Ronda Rousey would win by armbar in the first minute of the fight. That is exactly what happened. That is what I said. So, Gina Carano, as I said, legend of the sport, trailblazer. When you go back, and I watch tape when I make my predictions, and I'm not always right. When I watch women's MMA striking from 20 years ago, it's just not what would be considered to be even remotely high level today. And I saw how good supposedly Gina was back then. And now I know that she's 20 years older and she's in her 40s. And I saw what Ronda did in judo, in the UFC at the highest level. And even though Ronda is not the Ronda of old, I said there's no way that Gina's going to be able to prevent the takedown. And as soon as it happens, Ronda's going to be able to armbar her. And that's exactly what happened. So, yeah. Not to toot my own horn, but I nailed this prediction down to the minute. And yeah, that's it. Wow. Ronda Rousey, first round armbar, Gina Carano, threw a 1-2, got doubled, got mounted, got armbarred. John Wood giving Gina Carano a hug. Everybody made a bunch of money tonight, so everybody's happy. Here it is again. Double leg by Ronda Rousey. Couple of punches and an immediate armbar. Tap. That's it. Yeah. She just had nothing for Ronda. Just had nothing for the grappling ability. Ronda Rousey's grappling is still very, very good. Is she still elite to the UFC standard? Maybe. In grappling, maybe. And overall MMA, no. But is she good enough to beat a 44-year-old Gina Carano? Absolutely. So, there we have it, everybody. Those of you that stuck around, one more card rip tonight, and then we are going to call it an evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go hang out with the wife. I'm going to get some sleep, and I am going to recap this thing tomorrow for you all. So, for those of you that stuck around, I'm really hoping that we get our best card yet in this box. Here we go. You know him, you love him. Here's him landing a jab on Nasruddin Imavov before, unfortunately, the last style bender, Israel Adesanya, was finished by Imavov. Here's a cool one. A man that you know and you love and is on the commentary team, Mr. Daniel Cormier, holding up the double champ belt there. Cal Fernandez. All right, guys. Not as fire as the last pack with that auto Jeff Neal. That was a zinger. All right, we've got Francis Marshall. Base card. The Adesanya Rainbow Edition is worth a lot. Let me see. I don't think that was a Rainbow Edition, was it? Let me pull it back out. Dude, you guys know more about this than I do. So Adesanya, Topps Chrome. I don't see anything that says Rainbow Edition. I don't know. I'll hold it up. Maybe you can tell from looking at it. But I don't think it's a Rainbow Edition. It just is him versus Nasruddin. Oh shit! Oh wow, that's it was a pride. I got you, dude. You had me sold there. That was good. That was really good. You got me on camera. Let's see here. A few more. Hyder Amil. Ronda Rousey getting announced here. Here he is, RDR, making his move up to 205. Rainier de Ritter. Look at this. Striking Distance. Alexandre Pantoja. That's kind of cool. Different looking card. And we got another one of these blacked outs, but not as cool as T-City Ortega. We have Nora Carnoli, blacked out. So that's the last card of the evening, guys. I'm going to put that. I don't know about these blacked out cards, so I'm going to sleeve them up just in case before I take them to Chris's house. So we will hear what Ronda Rousey has to say, and then we will give our final thoughts, and then we will see all of you lovely people tomorrow when we recap this thing with Nick in the studio. So Ariel Helwani now with Ronda Rousey. Beautiful moment. Ariel saying, Ronda saying he's going to interview Gina as well as Ronda. Shades of her fight against Kat Zingano in LA, almost the exact same amount of time. What are her thoughts? Ronda says Gina's the person who brought her to MMA as well as the only person that could have brought her back to MMA. She showed her where her home was. Thank you, Meditude. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you being here. Ronda's saying she'll never be able to pay Gina back enough, but she brought her to MMA. Very grateful, very grateful. Ronda appreciative to Netflix and MVP. You guys think Ronda will come back and fight Holly Holm? I feel like she will. Ronda saying she's grateful to everybody in the platform of MVP, etc. Ronda said she was hoping to come out as unscathed as possible. She didn't want to hurt Gina. But yeah. Glad Gina had a good payday. Yeah, same. Happy for her, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. Heather O'Neill, I think she would. Yeah, I think so too. I think she wants that get back with Holly Holm. Ronda's a competitor. That's why I told you they were friendly in the buildup. I was like, Ronda's going to go at her and try to finish this immediately. Yeah, Ronda thanking her training partners, et cetera, et cetera. Ariel's going to ask her if she's coming back. Ariel saying, "Do you want to come back? Do you want to fight again? Listen to the crowd. It's got to be Holly Holm. She wants to have more babies, and she's got to get going. I think she's coming back to fight Holly Holm. I know she wants to win that one. Ariel interviewing Gina Carano now. Gina wanted it to last longer. She said she felt ready, she felt good, but she was 17 years out. Just it happened. Yeah, saying that she, just getting here after 17 years was a victory to her. Credit to Gina. I'm happy that she made a nice payday, got to come back for the fans one last time. But yeah, just very, very quick, very, very non competitive. Gina saying she woke up every morning thinking about Ronda, took 100 pounds off of her body because of it. So good. I'm glad it was a positive outcome in general for Gina. For Gina, she made a bunch of money. She got in great shape. She got to come back. Ariel asking if she wants to do it again. Yeah, she said 17 years and 44 years old is a lot. Joey, have a good rest of your night. I'm about to have a Ho Choi fight marathon. Let's go, man. I'm fired up about Choi as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Gina's pretty much wrapped up saying she's not coming back. She's 44 years old. Ronda wants to have more babies. So I still think Ronda will come back for Holly Holm. I need to get some sleep. Nick and I are going to sit down tomorrow and recap everything. I'm going to show Chris all these cards. Thank each and every one of you for being here, and I am calling it a night. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.